And the name on the contract does say McMahon. However, the contract reads Shane.
Originally, we did a couple of roadblocks,
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Butterfly Suplex Effect intro.
Defect is it?
Tonight you're going to witness Jonathan and Aaron going one-on-one in a fantasy booking showdown. Let's see who can do better. So, gentlemen, the prompt that you are not yet aware of is on November 18th, 2012, WWE held Survivor Series, and the world of professional wrestling in general changed forever with the debut of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. For well over 2 years, they dominated the wrestling scene as a trio, a closer group of friends you could not find. But all good things come to an end. And in apparently 2014, they went their separate ways and all flourished, all became world champions in their own right. But what if they didn't? What if the Shield did not split? What if Plan B was not Seth Rollins? Tonight, we are going to take it from WrestleMania 30. May 30? Yes. We're going to take it from WrestleMania 30, and we're going to book forward with the Shield not splitting in the way they had. That is the remit. You can split them if you want, but it will not be the Raw after Extreme Rules. Seth Rollins will not be Plan B on that night. Add a little colour to it yourselves. See how you get on.
Okay.
Are you happy?
Interesting. I'm very intrigued, actually. Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster here from 2012 just to give me an idea what I was working with.
2014. You're looking for summer 2014.
Fuck. I looked at the roster for 2012 and it was Baron Corbin, and I was like, he looks like a fella that was in my class.
Just some of these names is like, Jesus Christ, I haven't thought of these cunts in years. It's now part of my brain that's activated now for whatever reason. You know,
there was a young Alexa Bliss as well on this fucking roster. Fuck, I missed that. Adam Rose, Aiden English, Pac. Ooh. There is a fun roster here to fucking work off.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, we had a Brock Lesnar inside there. I feel like that's a wild card that we could use possibly at some point, depending on how it goes.
Absolutely.
Daniel Bryan, Christian, David Otunga. I love all the renders on this are clearly photos from the website. And I don't know if you see. Did you see the Dean Ambrose one?
Yeah, Dean Ambrose was like a render from the video game, isn't it?
That's what it looks like. Yeah. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Fucking hell.
It's hilarious. It's fucking absolutely hilarious.
There's a young Elias in there, an Enzo, Emma, Eva Marie,
Okay.
This
So
roster.
what's the timeline that we're going for? Jake?
I was just looking at that. So in
Okay.
order to put some kind of shape on it, we are going to go up onto the 2-year anniversary of the Shield's debut. We are going from WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania, through to Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Okay.
So you've got Extreme Rules month 1, Payback month 2, Money in the Bank month 3, Battleground month 4, July, SummerSlam in August, Night of Champions in September, Hell in a Cell in October, Survivor Series in November.
Awesome.
Okay.
Money in the Bank, Battleground. Jesus, I just remember how fucking generic these goddamn fucking pay-per-views were. They were so awful. I know I give out about certain.
Yeah.
No, go on. Money in the Bank, Payback, Extreme. What was the next one?
Extreme Rules starts it in April, Payback in May, Money in the Bank in June, Battleground in July, SummerSlam in August, Night of Champions in September, Hell in a Cell October, closing it out at Survivor Series in November.
Okay.
And if
All
you
right,
want to give a little epilogue,
What was the one between Survivor Series and SummerSlam again?
so after SummerSlam in August, you have Night of Champions in September and Hell in a Cell in October.
Yeah, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 legs on this one. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Deadly.
Wait.
Yeah, I might have a cheeky epilogue
But
depending on.
it's 8, and then the epilogue can be the decider.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
That's awesome. That's cool. Okay.
now,
All right. Yeah.
I would be curious. Do I have the power as host?
You do?
Well, I will mark it month by month because this could go in wildly different directions, and the split
Yes.
could happen at either time. I want you both to build on your own story.
Yeah.
And you might win one month, you might lose one month, but I want to see both of your narrative in full.
Oh, so you want us to I see what you mean then. So we won't take the previous ones as canon. We will just we'll still follow our own thread. Okay.
You'll take your own as canon.
Okay.
But
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
then
I'm
we'll
okay
see
with
how
that.
that goes.
Yeah, okay. Right, and so
Because I do want to see what you do with the different timelines for the potential split. Or
There-
do you
there
leave
was
them
a lad-
together?
There was a lad in NXT called Grizz. That's not a Vince McMahon name. I don't know what is.
because one of the usual
name?
fucking senpals that never made it. It's fucking ridiculous.
What's your name in NXT?
Grizz.
Grizz.
All right then. Okay.
It's Grizz.
All right.
Hal Bishop.
Oh, that's who it was. Yeah, he was in one of those FCW heads that just never made it.
Fair.
A wrestler was indeed there.
Apparently he's now Cal
I
Jack
missed
and
that.
still wrestles.
There's a young Sheridan on this fucking roster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At this point, the
Anybody
takeovers were underway. So at this point, NXT was already kind of a super indie. So you do have the option to pull from it.
I have picked a couple of NXT names there just in case, in case it ever comes about. So,
Jolly good.
You never fucking know when something might show up. Because I mean, in fairness, that's also that's kind of consistent with the booking as well. Because the Shield pretty much came from nothing as well. So it's a bit of great.
They were indie call-ups.
Yeah,
looking to fucking fix the problems of the Nexus. Which may have also been one of the problems. But who knows?
Anyway,
we'll get some more future episodes.
We were playing factions one way or another, so that works.
to be fair, with the Nexus, I think that was actually booked fine until a very certain fucking match at a very certain fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, made a
it wasn't picked fine.
In fairness, I have an opinion on that as well. So I know where I'm going for my next prompt anyway. So All right then. So so
And,
we're
and just for the criminally curious, the other prompt that was picked via dice roll was WWF 2001. What if Stone Cold did not turn heel at WrestleMania
oh you
17?
man, the literally the other side of the original butterfly suplex effect.
Literally.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well,
Oh.
Aaron,
I have
if you
both
win
of it,
this,
can.
if you win this, we're doing that. I'm pulling my
Okay.
executive
I
producer.
actually, I need to point out, if I win this, we ain't doing WWE.
Oh,
Fair.
oh,
No, we're not
okay.
doing WWE. I have a very, very fun one in mind. A very
I
particular
think I
type
know
of
where
night
you
to
might be
come
Hang
going.
on. Is yours prompt number 16 from my list that I very nearly called out to you in 2022, where after Brawl Out, Tony Khan chose CM Punk instead of the Elite?
Oh my god, it would have been so much fun. That would have been so much fun to do. No, it has nothing to do with. It
Okay.
has something to do with a company that's still alive, but AEW doesn't exist. It is mere a twinkle in Tony Khan's young eye. It does not
Hmm.
exist. It was.
A
It
bit
was.
of total non-stop action.
Maybe there is non-stop action.
Hmm.
Maybe they don't sign a couple of fucking dickheads that they ended up signing.
One can only fucking hope.
Hang on. So what you're saying is yours was prompt number 14, where TNA doesn't get Hulk Hogan.
Fuck! Yes, it was. It was.
Do you want me to re-roll for you, Aaron?
Yeah, he would. That's that. So what? Pretend you're going to forget that the next time.
Oh, fantastic. I love
Okay,
that.
do I have a volunteer to go first?
All right. Then.
Wait, you
All
both
right.
want to go first.
Do you know what? I'll go first actually. On this.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're keeping WrestleMania 30 as is, isn't that right? We're not doing
Yes.
anything particular with that. Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, do you know what? I'm
As
gonna keep
poor as it
mine.
was,
Yeah, no, in fairness, like
not the ideal use of the Shield.
it wasn't, to be fair. Do you know what actually? You see,
I'm gonna
I
keep.
can't really change too much.
I will say this.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to keep most of what happened up
yeah,
until Money in the Bank.
just a few tweaks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will say that I'm gonna keep with rest. Okay, well, I'll start painting the picture anyway. So, I think the first off, obviously, we need to kind of cast our minds back to the whole authority stuff and how fucking tedious the whole thing was. So obviously, the Daniel Bryan story is kind of like staying as is with the initial match of Triple H, and then obviously he wins the title, the Unified World Championship at the end of the night. So he has both championships aloft. So I am mentioning that for potentially kind of like narrative reasons. Um, we obviously saw we have the Undertaker finishing off the streak or finishing his streak off against Lesnar. We have Cena beating Wyatt as well. So yeah, there's a few kind of things in there. The Shield, I
I'm
would say
really
this.
sorry. I did not set up this world well. I should have given some.
No, that's good though. But if anything,
Oh,
You've
it's
done a
more
wonderful
refreshing for
job, though.
me. Yeah, it's more
I
refreshing. What
I
can I
will
fuck?
say
Yeah,
you have actually made me. You've just reminded me that Daniel Bryan won that year at WrestleMania. I actually forgot that WrestleMania was that one. I actually thought it was the year after. In my
yeah.
head, it was
It,
Oh
2015.
shit!
It's funny enough.
Yeah.
I was only literally just editing us watching the main event of WrestleMania 30 for Watch Graps as well. So like this is actually fresh in my mind as well. So
Interesting.
yeah. So realistically, like hypothetically, what I would love to have done is to book the Shield versus Evolution for this WrestleMania 30, but it would just change too much on the card to do that. So I am actually going to keep it to them squashing Kane and the New Age Outlaws. And basically, it's a case where like the Authority are having such a terrible day, all their kind of like plans have been foiled in one quick in one quick fell swoop. So what I will do is I probably have some sort of like kind of angle on the run up to Extreme Rules where Daniel Bryan is in the same kind of realm as the Shield, which possibly did happen on one of the Raws in between. I can't recall. It sounds like something they do anyway.
I
Um,
believe so.
but in a way, like they're them kind of coalescing between like all the indie darlings, sans Roman Reigns. So you have your Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, and there is going to be the kind of conversation like these aren't the main eventers you want. These are the main eventers you want. Evolution, music hits, outcome, Randy Orton and Batista, Triple H. We have this kind of like, actual Revolution reunion now from that. And that's where you got our beatdown of Evolution. The Shield are going to look a little bit kind of worse for wear from that point on. Dan Bryan, I think he's going to still have his match. I think the Extreme Rules main event is him and Kane,
It
which I'll
was.
keep. I think that makes kind of relative sense to do that, considering their past history. But the one only thing I am going to change is that I'm going to have in the match between the Shield and Evolution, because I did feel like there was a little bit more mileage in the Evolution reunion at the time. The only change I'm going to have is I'm going to have actually Evolution win that match against the Shield, and it's still like a fantastic match as I remember it anyway. If not, it's going to be better. And what I will do is, but the one key thing I'm going to have is I'm going to try and get Evolution to establish a weak point in the Shield, a proverbial chink in the armor, to try and hone in on one person in particular and say this person is the weak point, this person is the guy who's not going to take it any further, and that person I'm picking as the weak point is Dean Ambrose. Because the way I'm going to do it is over the few weeks of television between WrestleMania and Extreme Rules, everyone's going to have a dance partner essentially. Triple H is going to pair off with Seth Rollins. Batista is going to pair off with Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose is going to pair off with Randy Orton. And no actual formal matches between them, but just promos and kind of like brawls and stuff like that. But the main takeaway would be that it's essentially a 2-1, where Rollins is beating off sorry, past experience. But Seth
Really?
Rollins has correct. He has beaten himself off on camera. And Seth Rollins has refuted kind of Triple H's ambush. Roman Reigns beat the shit out of Batista, but the one person that he actually are able to get through is Dean Ambrose. So Randy Orton is able to hit an RKO out of nowhere at Dean Ambrose, and like at least get one on them there. The Shield come in and kind of like coalesce and make sure and protect Dean Ambrose. But again, the key thing here is that Dean Ambrose is going to eat the pin in this match. And let's just say, for consistency's sake, it'll be Randy Orton to do it. Let's just say they have all the kind of shenanigans and brawls from the previous previous match to do their big out kind of arena spots and stuff like that. But when it does come down to it, the Shield can do its triple power bomb and all that jazz. They might take out Triple H, let's say, just for the catharsis. Batista gets taken down with two finishers, but in the end, it'll be Dean Ambrose who gets RKO'd 1, 2, 3, almost a proper mugging of a result. It looks like the Shield's going to win. It's going to get rid of Evolution, and it's just going to take the wind out of themselves completely. But it's just to put that little bit of seed of doubt in that is Dean Ambrose actually good enough for the Shield type of thing. And we'll just fade to black on that with Evolution getting one up on the Shield.
Okay. Wonderful.
So I know I'm putting up bullet points as like the major points. This is just scribbles. That's all writing is really just a series of squiggles. So I would keep everything, like as I said, I'm going to keep everything more or less the exact same. Nothing changes at all. But I would tease earlier on that they do have someone from the Shield that they're going to take. Right? So
attempt
it'll
to
be
sow discord.
Yes, right. So up until Payback, really nothing changes on TV. It's just a little bit more obvious on we have someone. They won't necessarily say it's someone from the Shield. They're just going to say that they have someone.
Okay.
They still have a plan B, right? Which would obviously sow something in their heads. Who is it? So when they do get to Payback, they still lose. But they will go to the point where it's a brutal match of Payback. Was it no disqualification of Payback?
Extreme Rules. No,
Extreme
the first
Rules.
one wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Extreme. Yeah, I was working from Extreme. Yeah, so it's still worse than
So it says here the elimination match was Payback. No holds barred elimination match. Yeah.
This was no holds barred, but yeah, they did it again.
Yeah.
The big one you're thinking of is Payback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to the
so just and it's really unfair that it's after you went, Jonathan, but the Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose faced Evolution, Batista, Triple H, and Randy Orton. During the match, Triple H performed a pedigree on Reigns, and Batista attempted to pin him for a near fall. Orton performed an RKO on, but Rollins broke up a pinfall by Batista at a 2 count. Ambrose ran across the announce tables and leapt onto Triple H and Orton. Triple H, Orton, Ambrose, and Rollins fought into the arena stands, where Triple H and Orton caused Ambrose to fall down a set of stairs. Triple H and Orton attacked Ambrose until Rollins dove off a balcony onto Triple H and Orton. The ending saw Batista perform a spinebuster on Reigns and attempt a Batista bomb on Reigns. But Reigns countered and performed a Superman punch on Batista. Reigns performed a spear on Batista for the win.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
I'll give it before you go next time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Is this? So yeah. So this is the one that the Shield won, yeah, and the night afterwards in our timeline, Seth
No,
turns.
no,
That's payback.
He turns out. They turn out after the night after payback. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
there's
all right,
two
okay,
6-man
so
tags. in
Yes.
reality.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, with this one, nothing fucking changes. Everything stays the fucking same. That's my plan. It's because I mixed that up. I thought we'll work it off of Extreme Rules onwards.
Okay.
So in that case, everything stays the same up until Extreme Rules. It's from there onwards where I'll start.
Okay, it's just same as
Doing
reality.
some fucking shit. Yeah.
Okay. Do I give
Yeah,
who's
I'd
ahead
say.
at this point? Do I wait till the end? Okay,
No,
so
you
in
can
that
give
case,
us the points now. I'd say because then I can use that then in the edit then for
okay.
whatever.
In that case, just for sheer creativity and for adding to reality, Jonathan, you are ahead for the
All
moment.
right. Okay. Cool.
But
Okay.
there's miles to go yet.
There is a long way to go. Okay.
Okay, so do you want? Will we stick with the Jonathan Aaron rotation? Do you want to?
If Aaron wants to take the next one first, if he wants to,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll take the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, go
So
on.
as I
Okay,
was
so
saying
the same
earlier,
as reality, but now.
yes,
So,
but in this
payback.
case,
Oh,
they
wait,
start.
sorry.
No.
Just before you do. In reality, provided this isn't overstepping and annoying people, but
No.
in the main event of Payback, the Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose faced Evolution in a no-holds-barred 6-man tag team elimination match. At the start, Rollins fought with Triple H, Ambrose fought with Orton, and Reigns fought with Batista. Hey! Jonathan's makeup.
Yeah, that works.
Eventually, the two teams fought in the ring. The match descended into a brawl throughout the arena, where Orton attacked Ambrose and Triple H hit Rollins with a TV monitor. Evolution performed a triple powerbomb through the broadcast table on Reigns. Ambrose and Rollins fought with Evolution in the entranceway, where Orton executed a belly-to-back suplex through a chair on Ambrose, and Triple H executed a pedigree on Rollins onto a chair. Back in the ring, Batista executed a spinebuster on Reigns. Evolution hit Reigns with kendo sticks while he was incapacitated on the steel steps. Reigns executed a Superman punch on Orton, but Triple H hit Reigns with a chair. Evolution fought with the Shield in the entranceway again, where Rollins leapt off the Titantron onto Evolution. Back in the ring, Rollins attempted a diving knee. Batista countered with a mid-air spear. When he was just about to cover Rollins, Reigns executed a spear on Batista, allowing Rollins to eliminate him. Ambrose hit Orton after Orton attempted a second rope DDT on Reigns with a chair and executed dirty deeds onto the chair to eliminate him. Triple H hit a low blow on Ambrose and attempted a pedigree, but Reigns executed a Superman punch. Batista executed a spear on Reigns, and Orton passed Triple H his sledgehammer. Triple H hit Ambrose with the sledgehammer and attempted to pin Reigns with the sledgehammer, but Rollins executed a springboard high knee on Triple H. Reigns executed a spear on Triple H to eliminate him and win the match for the Shield with a clean sweep. That's reality.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the card there for this.
Possibly written by AI.
I looked at Wikipedia. This was the first pay-per-view, I don't know if this adds anything into your thing, that didn't have a championship match on the card since December 2006.
Yes, because Daniel Bryan relinquished the title because of his neck injury.
Ah, yes, he fucking did. Aha.
Yeah, he had to pack it in. Yeah,
I'm gonna add this on. He doesn't do that.
Okay.
He never gets injured. All right. So You're going to keep that in, so he doesn't get injured. Now,
Okay.
granted, the match still doesn't happen. There's no change to the card as such. It's just that for the future, that didn't happen.
Okay.
So Payback still goes off without a hitch, right? The weeks leading up to it, Triple H and Batista and Randy Orton will never really get the upper hand on the Shield at all. It'll be more obvious that Batista's out because he will say, if I don't beat these fuckers, I'm gone. I can't be arsed. I don't lose anymore. I'm in a Marvel movie now. I don't need to lose anymore. Which at that point, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was coming out in August of that year, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
So it will get to that pay-per-view. There will be the build-up to it. We've got our guy. There's no problem. This is where the change comes in. They still win. The Shield still win. They still do everything. Nothing changes. At the end, Batista says, I fucking quit. And Triple H hits him over the head with a sledgehammer and basically screams at him, I have somebody better anyway. I don't need you anymore. To which a masked man slides in under the ring and saves him from getting a spear from Reigns before he turns around. He acts shocked, but in actual fact, he knows who it is.
Is this still on the Payback pay-per-view?
Yes, this is all the pay-per-view.
Okay.
So everything still happens. Batista quits on the night instead of quitting the day afterwards.
Yep.
The reveal of the plan B comes into effect now instead of the day afterwards. So Reigns gets taken out with a steel chair to the back, as what happened originally. He then Dean Ambrose tries to come in for it. He gets taken out. Rollins then tries to get in, but Triple H takes him out before it can happen. The two men look at each other. They both laugh, and we get a corporate punk takes off the mask and says, I brought Willie. He doesn't say it. He starts shouting at Triple H. They start shouting at each other in the euphoria of what's happening. And Punk has said, I've brought these fuckers and I'll take them out.
Okay.
You don't need that meathead. You have me now. All right. So everything goes off, but in this case, Punk turns heel. Sides with Triple H, sides with Evolution, but the Evolution, I suppose, died that night. So back to what do they call themselves again? What was the fucking name of that team? The what?
As in just like the Triple H's like kind of thing.
What was Triple H's thing? The Authority. Yeah. So he joins. He a la Austin turning heel, but just better.
Okay. See, I like this because Punk technically got fired later that month. So
so
you got in there and brought him back first.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he takes out them and says, I'm going to take these fuckers out. Okay. Three of them stand in the ring. Orton, Triple H, Punk, all hands up. People are like, oh my fucking God, he came back. Oh my fucking Jesus, what's happening? Collective euphoria in the arena, and we're away to the races.
Indeed. Okay. That is May for Aaron. Jonathan.
Hello,
what have you got for May?
What I've got for May. So, this is the first one I'm kind of properly restructuring a match card for from compared to real life. So there is going to be quite a lot of changes to Payback. The biggest thing would be that there is no more Shield versus Evolution. That match is off the cards at the moment.
Okay.
So that's going to be scrapped, and we're going to kind of recycle that as best we can. So the first thing to do to establish is, because we mentioned about Daniel Bryan, and considering he is kind of also in this kind of battle against the authority realm that we have going, he's going to be, I'm going to include what's going on with him. So in reality, obviously, he has to relinquish the title because of a neck injury, whereas this is my timeline. I can do whatever I want. Let's just say, for argument's sake, he does have a neck injury. He does need to take time off, and he needs to heal from it, whatever. But I'm going to kayfabe it. I'm going to give it a narrative reason why he has to retire from that. So he has his match with Kane. That goes off without a hitch. He retains the two championships. But on the night after Raw, because Evolution now are on a bit of a high from beating the Shield, they're going to come out and they're going to gang up on Daniel Bryan. There's going to be a sledgehammer to the back of the head, and that gives Daniel Bryan his kind of like his out then for neck injury and stuff like that. The Shield are just basically going to be those few seconds too late to defend Daniel Bryan. They could have been inconvenienced by the Road Warriors, by Kane. Take your pick, really. You could say there was a 6-on-3 kind of brawl, and just in the melee, Triple H managed to get that shot out on Daniel Bryan. Took him out with the sledgehammer, and so there's a week or two of uncertainty about what's happening to World Championships. We finally hear back from WWE Medical that Daniel Bryan is absolutely 100% not able to defend his championships. He's going to expire his kind of mandatory monthly title defenses. So they have to find new champions. That's the way it's going to work. And so we can wheel out Vince McMahon to make the crown decision, because this is a big decision. We need to crown not one but two champions. And they're gonna say, well, for corporate reasons, we need to have champions at the top of the tree, rabble, 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 whatever you want this crazy old fucking syphilis riddled man to say. So what the arbitrary decision is
shit for brains. Shit for brains.
Literal, like, actual brain worms here, right? So so the way we're going to do it is Vince McMahon is going to make a decision in terms of like who do I think are the biggest stars going into the new generation, and how do we connect with the new generation of fans. I know what they want. I'm going to give Batista a WWE Championship opportunity. I'm going to give Randy Orton a World Heavyweight opportunity, and they're going to both compete for those titles on those nights. And they're going to go up against what we say the new generation of wrestlers. So it'll be Kofi Kingston given an opportunity against Batista versus, let's just say, I don't know who was the babyface at the time. Let's just say Sheamus, maybe. I know he was US champion at the time. So let's say, yeah, you know what? Like, again, the whole kind of gist is like they're going up against like softballs essentially. So it's a case of like, oh yeah, you could definitely take on, Kofi Kingston. You could definitely take on, do you know what? Let's just say Cesaro, for instance. Right? So yeah, let's go with Rob Van Dam. Yeah, exactly. It's a match we've never done before, we could say, is Batista versus Kofi Kingston, and Randy Orton versus Rob Van Dam. It's the only time you'll ever see these compete again for the World Championship. The main kind of like cut and thrust is that the Shield have been frozen now to these opportunities. That's the real kind of cut and thrust of this. They're going to be given, so the match they will have at Payback will be the Road Warriors versus Kane in a rematch from WrestleMania. That's your no holds barred match. That's the brawl from. Did I say what did I say? The new age, yeah.
It's Road Warriors.
Did I say Road Warriors? Jesus Christ!
The Wrestling Hawk is a bit fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're gonna assume Hawk this occasion. Yeah, no, we're gonna go with the new age Outlaws and Kane, and they're gonna have their rematch from WrestleMania. But it's gonna be a very emphatic, like, it's not just gonna be a squash. It is the case like the Road Warriors are the Road New Age Outlaws. I did it again. Are out. They're done. They are not going to be part of the storyline anymore. The Shield have obliterated them. Corporate Kane still being as corporate as he ever is. He's still going to be an issue going forward, but but Road Dogg and Billy Gunn are definitely not going to be in the realm at this point. So that's going to be there. Like, the Shield are obviously going to win it kind of comfortably, like they did at WrestleMania. But you can kind of tell there's a chip on their shoulders. There is a fact that like they have to they want to get those world championships. They want to try and get to that point. And again, for that catharsis, Dean Ambrose will be the person to pick up the pin on Kane in that match. So the only real change, so the restructured card for Payback would be lower down, kind of like towards the start of the show would be the Shield versus the New Age Outlaws and Kane in a flavored like elimination or no holds barred match, give or take tables, TLC, whatever you want to use. So anything kind of like along those lines, something hardcore, something like a throwback to the Attitude Era. Then the joint main events will be Batista versus Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton versus Rob Van Dam. In both matches, Triple H will interfere to ensure that Batista and Randy Orton end up being respective champions. So Batista will be the WWE champion, and Randy Orton will be the World Heavyweight champion. And essentially means that Evolution now have this glorious kind of utopia of championships. They have cornered the market again. So it's almost like the whatever prophecy they had at the time of like both these new prodigies being champions and now finally come true. It's like the full circle moment for them personally. Um, I do have a little more wrinkle to throw in here, but I'm gonna wait until Money in the Bank, I think, for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's hard.
Playing the pun card early, Aaron, I have to say, is a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
It was the moment I realized the year, the moment I realized the roster.
Yeah.
It seems
And to
like
be fair, you got in there before he was fired, so kudos.
Again, the timing is quite good. You can, yeah.
They still could have came out at that point and said they fired him, and it's even more of a shock.
Yeah. Well, at that point we all assumed, as I recall.
I think we all kind of just assumed he was gone anyway. They just had to announce him.
Yeah.
Do it on his wedding day. Fuck him.
Wait a second, that sounds familiar.
Okay, I love what you're cooking, Jonathan.
Sure.
Love that the Outlaws are out. Actually, quite like where Dave and Randy becoming the champions. But, and Kofi getting a title match in 2014. Good shit. But for playing the punk card, Aaron is getting May.
All right then.
That's big. Now we are into June. Importantly, on June 2nd, 2014, is in reality the night that Seth Rollins became Plan B and smacked Roman with a chair. The Shield was no more. So from now we are divulging from reality. So, gentlemen, with Money in the Bank right around the corner, Jonathan, I invite you to go first this month if we're alternating it, or...
Yep, no, I'll go first this time. Yep, no problem. So there's one quick thing I have to check before I commit to the booking. Yes, perfect. Now I can go. Okay, so yes, we're gonna seeing that the date does have an important narrative reason. I'm going to keep the date the night after Payback. Now there is going to be a reveal to a certain degree, but it's not quite what you think. So the show is going to start off with Triple H in the suit and Stephanie McMahon going again for the 15-minute TED Talk that opens every fucking episode of Raw around this time. And then we bring out the two...
Jesus Christ, remember that shit? Oh my fucking
I think I said it during the Watch Graphics thing. That was wrestling austerity. That was a credit crunch in wrestling form.
Yeah.
And it did not get any better since, lads.
You did actually, yeah. It was just Stephanie every fucking week on TV.
Yeah.
Not even in a good way. She's great to... I don't care if this comes across. Great to look at. But when you do it every week, on every Raw, every fucking episode, God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Clearly, she should just be trotted out once a year, pick a night of Mania. She can welcome everyone to it with the McMahon drawl, and then we can be done with that.
Exactly, yeah. Just consolidate it all into one like tedious episode of Monday Night Raw, and then just forget about it for the rest of the time, But
I do assume she will show up at Evolution just to take credit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was all her idea after all. She invented women, as we all know. Yes, of course.
Well, to me, I will give her this. She was apparently a big proponent of actually taking the women seriously for a solid decade of trying to persuade her dad to go, please give them more time. For the love of God.
I don't ask for much, but please.
Yeah.
Can we, Seth? So in any case, we have so we still have the important date in the calendar is June 2nd, so we're going to keep using that. So we have our kind of like our traditional the authority circle jerk promo. Triple H and Stephanie come out. We're going to have Randy Orton with his shiny belt. So obviously they've done the split now. They have the two championships back again, and Randy Orton's going to have his. Batista has his again. great timing for Batista to be a world champion as well, considering the what's happening to him with regarding to the Galaxy. So WWE are just raking in the sponsorships, raking in the money, whatever they want to do with it. Um, but the key thing is that Triple H is kind of joking that like there's something missing from this reunion. You know, there's a name that shouldn't be here. And so Ric Flair is going to come out then, and obviously everyone's going to be wooing and delighted for all these different things. But Ric Flair, is going to be there with Triple H going, like, listen, you know, I love you guys. Like, we made some great memories together, but you know, I'm not getting any younger, and it pains me to say that as a nature boy, woo, all that sort of stuff. But I thought if we're going to be talking about evolution, then there's only one person that I can think of to take to debutize in my shape and fashion, and it'll be Charlotte that comes out to essentially be the fourth member of Evolution. Because again, it's also this one thing about Stephanie McMahon. She's going to says, well, you know, if I need an auxiliary to work out here for me as well, and I need someone who's going to take the women's division by the scruff and just dominate. Because I would want to dominate the women's division as well. You know, it's going to be her little victory as well. So Charlotte's going to join Evolution, and she is going to be basically starting off as valet, and then obviously wrestling as time goes on. Then, as more of the kind of that NXT generation, the four horsewomen emerge in their own time, Charlotte will emerge as the quintessential heel, not necessarily needing the kind of the Ric Flair kind of supervision in a sense, because she'll have the Evolution supervision instead. So we'll have that. So then coming in then to the Money in the Bank situation, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So again, the Authority now still have the Shield as their kind of their as a thorn on their side. They are still getting their little victories. So even on that episode of Raw, let's just say Batista and Randy Orton have a tag team match against the Usos, let's just say, and the Shield are going to go, right, fuck this, we hate this nonsense. So they're going to derail the main event. They're going to beat up Batista, and Orton. Triple H comes out, and the numbers game gets to it. We have our stalemate between Evolution. Seeing that Charlotte would have joined Evolution at that point, we can have her kind of being the square off. In fact, like Charlotte's squaring up to fight, but like the Shield are going like, okay, we're not going to do that, obviously. So we have that kind of standoff there. So Triple H is going, listen, we know the story here between you guys. You want these world championships. You want to get rid of us. We're not going anywhere. We're Evolution. We run this. We run the show. You don't. You're a pale imitation of what was a much better fucking addition, which is us. So they're gonna say, listen, and you know, like, and realistically, you know, we're not gonna be like defending the world championships each time. You don't need to. These guys are busy, you know, type of thing. So we're going to be making. There is obviously other people going to be thrown into this kind of storyline as well. So seeing that Batista's on a bit of a kind of semi-retirement cruise as well. He's going to roll back the years with a match with John Cena at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship. For Randy Orton, he is going to have a similarly kind of like, you know, we haven't had a match like this before. He's going to have it with Sheamus, who will have lost the United States Championship at this point. So we're going to have Randy Orton, Sheamus, and John Cena versus Batista for those two championships. So two solid main events. But in terms of the Shield, the narrative, the storyline is going to rotate around the Money in the Bank briefcase, because the situation now has been engineered that the Money in the Bank is the most crucial thing. They would accrue the only weapon they really have in countering the Authority. So in that, their Shield are going to signal their intention to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match. But of course, Triple H is going to have other plans. So he's going to say, look, I'm not giving you 3 spots. That's just the reality of it. It isn't happening under my watch. So if you want a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match, you're going to have to fight amongst yourselves for it. And there will be a triple threat on the go home match, on the go home version of Raw, between Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns for that final Money in the Bank spot. And out of those 3, they will fight, they will go for it. There is going to be this is going to be the main event of that Raw, and they are going to fight for it. They're going to brawl for it, but ultimately, Dean Ambrose is going to get pinned by Seth Rollins. It's going to be a roll up. It's going to be out of nowhere. Roman Reigns has been disposed of at ringside, and it's just an opportunist thing from Seth Rollins to take Dean Ambrose out. And again, he's going to go mea culpa. It's just the situation we're in here. One of us had to go, and it better off have been at least one of us is going instead of none, essentially. So that's where it's going to go. So Seth Rollins is going to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match on behalf of the Shield, and realistically, the makeup of that Money in the Bank ladder match is not going to change that much. Dean Ambrose is going to be replaced by Corporate Kane. So we already have a corporate entity there in terms of Kane, and then we have all these other kind of like mid carders in there like Ziggler, RVD, Swagger. Take your pick really from the time we had it, and that'll be basically it. But the key thing will be that Seth Rollins will win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he will win it, and it'll be basically the Shield's ace in the hole is that briefcase. Now, whether he keeps it for himself or it's for the rest of the group, that's to be discussed later on. But for now, and Batista and Randy Orton will retain the titles, if in case you're wondering as well. So those all staying. It's going to be chicanery in the Batista one. Randy Orton's going to win his clean. So yeah, those are my story points at the moment.
Okay. Excellent. Really, really good.
Okay,
Aaron, how's your June looking?
As I get as I start thinking of stuff like later down on the card, like later down into the months, it's just now turning into look at the fucking state of that. It's just a fucking mess. And the pen for some reason won't work with small writing, so it's just me going to get it going. Right. Okay. So the shock, the awe has happened. The Monday night after Raw, we don't see the Shield. They're hurt. They're out for a week. Punk comes out, says, "Did you miss me? I was hurt. I work with children, but I only thought the only way I could actually, the only way I actually thought I could actually make something of my life. If I am going to have to wind down, my body is breaking down on me. I need to take as much money as I can get for the rest of my life. And you get offered $1 million a month or a year, or $2 million a year, whatever, to wrestle when you want. I'm going to take it. I don't got a lot left in me. I need my time to myself. I'm taking the money and I'm running, essentially. Because of this, what the fuck happened to my laptop? Jesus Christ. Because of this, Punk, Orton, both get a buy into the Money in the Bank ladder match. On the same night, Cena will have a qualifying match. He gets in it. That year, Cena won the Money in the Bank match for the vacant WWE Championship.
Uh-huh.
So he gets his match in. There's 3 spots left. All 3 spots will be decided in matches next week. And the week, we say next week, where it'll be Eric Rowan versus Seth Rollins, Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose, and The Big Show versus Roman Reigns. 3 big fuckers that will probably do the boss's bidding if they need to, because they're all heels. Why not? Against 3 members of the Shield. This would lead to all 3 members of the Shield winning due to some fuckery, because Brian is now getting entangled into all of this shit. So he helps the Shield win all 3 matches. Due to some fuckery, referee, distractions, whatever. It sets up Money in the Bank. Lovely. Where they still kind of have a tag team match, but it's not really a tag team match yet. So you have all of that going on. That match goes off without a hitch. People beat the shit out of each other. Cena is kind of being left alone because of the hatred amongst everybody else. So he nearly wins it. He gets up. He has his hand on the belt. And yet another masked man, because they love their masked men in the Authority, comes up, hits him off it. No, sorry, pushes the ladder, puts him through a table. Punk comes in. The masked man goes up, grabs the briefcase, and starts shouting for him to come up. He comes up. He hands off the briefcase to Punk. Punk is the Money in the Bank winner. The guy rips off his mask. And it's going to be... I've been going up and down the roster on this. So I genuinely didn't know who to pick here until I hit one I thought was a fun one. In a way to get him on the roster, it'll be Finn Balor. He's the young gun. He's the Orton of the group. So he'll be effectively the Randy Orton of that group now. Arrogant, cunty Finn Balor for his opening, move into fucking the main roster. Doesn't spend that much time in NXT. As far as I remember, it was either that summer or was it the summer beforehand he joined? It was that summer, wasn't it? Was it
The summer after
2013 or 2014? He's on the roster for 2014.
Let me
At least
check
The,
it.
that, the roster on the roster on SmackDown Hotel includes all of NXT. I think he stayed in NXT
It
until
does.
2015.
Yeah,
but
he does. Yeah, he
by
doesn't. He
all means,
doesn't
feel
debut
free to
yet.
call him up.
Yeah.
By all means, go
up,
for it.
Yeah, no, they call him up now. And they're not going to change his name. So he's not going to be Finn Balor. He's still going to be Prince Devitt, the prince who will become king. But when will he become king? Effectively. Because they can move very easily off of his New Japan stuff, which has been, well, even at the time he debuted in WWE, it was a big fucking deal that he showed up in WWE. He wasn't just some lad off the indies. As far as I remember, they made a big deal about him joining WWE. So that sets up that originally, I will say this, my masked man was going to be Sheamus at one point. I did have a wild card thrown in there that Alberto Del Rio, but then I quickly remembered. I also had Drew McIntyre being the third man, the fourth man, sorry. But I settled on Balor. I feel like he would be, this would be absolutely perfect. So Punk wins, gets the briefcase handed off to him. Shenanigans ensue. Everyone's fucking hurt. Cena's not really much a big part of this whole storyline for me. He has very little to do with it till Survivor Series, more or less. He has nothing to do in this whole thing. We'll just assume he's filming another movie and this is the start to him fucking off. But that's where it ends. It ends with Punk being Money in the Bank, and now the completed faction of Punk, Orton, Triple H, Finn Balor. Because Batista's already fucked off. So yes, that's where we have that now. I'll just get rid of that because I changed my fucking mind. Yeah, so that's where we are in that. This will lead into Battlefront or Battlefield or whatever the fuck it was called.
Battleground, yeah.
Battleground, there we go, yeah. Battleground. And yeah, that's where we kind of in that one. On that one, it'll lead up to Battleground. It leads up to the fucking Payback, where we have that whole Money in the Bank, where we have that whole thing. That's your new faction. There's your big fucking whatever. Triple H would start taking a back seat at this point to become the Ric Flair of the group. But he's a actual boss right now, so he gets to protect them all, essentially. And yeah, there we go. Right. Anybody, what do you think of that?
So, just out of curiosity, there is Randy Orton still part of this group? Then, so the group
Randy
as its
Orton
form is now is Triple H, Orton, Devitt, and Punk.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
That's a pretty fucking sick faction, to be honest.
That's a pretty sick fucking.
The fucking pretty good faction. I'll be honest. I like that. I like that.
You have Punk and Punk by himself. Triple H is the thing, and then you have Orton taking Devitt under his wing, essentially, for this whole thing now, which I feel like is perfect considering where they were at that point in their careers.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's perfect. We don't have to do too much. At the same time, there's a lot going on. So yeah, that's why I ended there now.
Okay, fair enough. You were muted there, Jamie, just so you know.
Yeah,
I didn't, as it happens. Hey, the show that's the proof for the last 5 minutes. Because I wasn't talking.
I will actually point out as well, the last person I had as well as Del Rio was Owens.
Yeah, he's in my head. He flick around, yeah.
He would have, but in my head, a Balor Orton pairing was much better.
Yeah,
I thought
fair.
In the point of my storyline, Owens and Orton don't really mesh as such. But
Yeah.
Balor and Orton are pretty boys. So, there's that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough.
So I love that you both made a big deal out of the 2nd of June.
Yeah.
In real life, the pivotal moment of this story where they split. Aaron has CM Punk's return to Raw. Jonathan has the debut of Charlotte. The reformation of Evolution. Out of the two, I am giving the month to Jonathan
Okay.
Fuck you.
because
God damn it. My one was better.
You see, the reason I actually didn't go with it is purely because he kept the name Prince Devitt. It would be so
Is
much
that-
more. No, not solely, but I think given that he's joining ostensibly the Authority, he should have willingly given up the name and shit on it.
No, because the aura and the name and the power of Prince Devitt is a lot more than Balor. Balor is a clean slate with no history. Devitt, on the other hand, is that killer from Japan who created the most dominant faction in the wrestling world for the next decade. You know what I mean? So there's that side of it as well. So yeah.
I do think that there is a poetry to putting Charlotte in Evolution in Rick's space, no less.
There is that yeah.
And
It needed
my
a
logic
flare,
is
it got a
that
flare.
and it's also the fact that like for me, like she's only a valet at the moment. It's that kind of that kind of Trish this Trish Stratus effect of like the main roster will not know how good she is until this end of the storyline. But now you'll be very well
Yeah.
acquainted with her from that, you know.
But the thing I love about that as well is that so Finn was actually, I don't know if he was even in NXT yet. He was signed.
He was signed, yeah.
I think he
He
only
was
showed up in
signed-
NXT that summer because he became Hideo Itami's mystery tag partner.
Yes,
Penta.
because he did that training session that I did
Yeah.
with him. And I got a chest chop from him. Just
Fair.
throwing that out there.
Well,
And that handprint is still here today.
framed, tattooed. But Charlotte had the takeover match with Natalia in the February. So, and Flair and Brett were in each corner. So on their TV, they've already established that connection, and now it's pivoted into her being Nepo babied to the top.
Yeah.
Which,
and like fully healed into it as well. Like she will be billed as Charlotte Flair, and just like it's the whole regalia of it, you know.
But like even just the fact that it's Charlotte Flair being a Nepo baby and getting good heat for it.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time. So what's not to love there?
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, Jonathan, if you bring in the Bellas and start making them talk about the womb and one of them dying in it,
I will actually be making a point of them not being there at all. I'm just erasing them from existence. Sorry, John. Sorry, Daniel. I know you had great times with them, but sorry about you. Total Bellas does not exist in my timeline. It's Total Page or something. I don't fucking know. We'll work something out there.
Okay.
Total Usos. There we go. Total Usos. That's what the people came to see.
Wonderful.
Right.
So, in the interest of alternating, Aaron, you're up first for July. Battleground.
Right. So,
I'm still listening.
The Raw afterwards, we have the new faction, but Balor's not going to speak. Sorry, Devitt's not going to speak. He's going to be mysterious and quiet in the background. So he won't speak at all. Punk will basically say, I have this, but it'll be my insurance policy because if I do lose at Battleground against Brian, then I always have something to back it up. This is my plan B, essentially. I was the original plan B. Now this is my plan B. He will be interrupted for the last time he will get mentioned in my storyline till the end. Cena, and we have another Punk Cena classic on Raw to decide who will face Brian. Reigns will fuck Punk. Not literally, figuratively. And he will cost him that. So the main event that I won't need to talk about now for the WWE Championship at Battleground will be Cena Bryan WWE Championship. So that's sorted. It will lead to Punk versus Reigns for their match at Battleground, and then Ambrose and Rollins will face Orton and Balor, leading to that pay-per-view. No tag titles. Maybe not at all. Definitely not yet. I haven't decided whether I'm actually going to do that yet. So that will lead into the Battleground thing. Punk wins against Reigns. Actually, no. Reigns beats Punk. Yeah, Reigns is going to beat Punk, and he's going to beat him clean. And he will have a fucking bitch fit over it. But Ambrose and Rollins will lose to Orton and Balor. Balor's going to pit the win up against Rollins at this point, which will be a big kind of, and he'll show off what he can do. The Cena, did you get all that, Jamie? Or you did?
Sorry,
then you have the main event. Yeah, then you have the main event between Bryan and Cena. They battle out. They have a fucking thing. But Punk still uses Plan B, comes in, destroys shit, gets the lads to beat the fuck out of Daniel Bryan. Triple H comes out and says he's cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. He doesn't need to stand up. Punk, take it away. Punk is your new WWE champion. And that's how we end the pay-per-view with that. That lead into a stacked SummerSlam, if I do say so myself. So, yeah, that's where we are there. That's basically going to be it. Punk's going to have the belt now. Orton and Balor have picked up their win against the two lads. So we have that done. Triple H is then still there, just giving that weird face that he gets to Nikki Bella that one time. Which I had to show Chloe about the other day. She thought it was fucking hilarious. It's my favorite Triple H photo. And it closes off with everyone on top. Even though Punk lost earlier in the night against Reigns, doesn't matter. He's got the belt now. Oh, Lord, where do we go from here? Bryan, obviously, at the side, just lying there, just looking, going, oh, shit, what have I done? What's happened? I've lost the thing that you took away from me. All that jazz. So, yeah, that's where that'll go. And that leads on to a pretty stacked SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I particularly enjoyed that. Was it Roman fucked Punk, but Punk had a load of Plan B? Stuff. Irresponsible.
That's not what I said exactly, but I guess if that's what you want to take for it, yeah.
I mean, out of all the artists that pick, Plan B is an interesting tie in there with for that. So that's something at least.
A little bit of product placement.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Okay, so for my Battleground, Battleground's a bit of a transitional pay-per-view for me because everything's kind of gearing up towards SummerSlam in particular. So, this month is very much the establishment trying to indirectly undermine and unwind the Shield. So there'll be a couple of storylines here. So obviously, the Shield kind of got their little victory by getting the Money in the Bank briefcase with Rollins. So on the first Raw, on the kind of first Raw back, Rollins is going to basically signal his intention with it, is say like, you know, this is our ace in the hole, this is our kind of our break glass solution. The moment the authority blinks, we'll be there to strike, and the Money in the Bank briefcase is going to be in Shield colors, so it'll be a Shield crest on the side of the Money in the Bank briefcase. And the way he says it is that this is our briefcase, so any one of us can cash in and take advantage. Because the way I see it, so it's a use of the word of the we and the I here from Rollins. He is kind of almost assuming the role of de facto leader of the Shield. And this will be picked up on by Reigns in particular, but it'd be kind of in a joking manner. It's like, yeah, who fucking died and put you in charge type of thing. And they'll laugh it off and all this sort of jazz, you know. But ultimately, Rollins will say, like, you know, like, this briefcase is ours. whenever we get an opportunity, any one of us can take this briefcase and cash it in, and we'll work together to gain a footing back in this kind of back in this battleground that we have. Um,
Ah,
but then, because the authority, the to use the words of a tiny hand orange pervert, you don't have the cards. Triple H is gonna come out and say, "Listen, this Money in the Bank briefcase is great, but let me run you by the numbers. The last person who cashed this in fucked it up, so it's not gonna work out. It's not a guaranteed title defense for you. We have." So many resources. We are the authority. We have anyone that we can under our thumb. We have a Rolodex we can call and make sure that that cash in is not going to happen. And as it just so happens, and he's going to go into the kind of technicalities. This whole thing with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's a bit too open for us. So if you actually read the fine print of the Money in the Bank briefcase, it depends on where you are on the roster. So Seth Rollins, you're a Raw superstar, so your briefcase can only work in the WWE Championship, which is Batista's title. And as it turns out, he's a bit busy at the moment with his media duties, so we're not going to see him for a little while. I'm afraid we're going to have to give him special dispensation for his title defense, using the same logic they did against Daniel Bryan, seeing that he had to relinquish the championships. They're now going to use it as a means of protecting Batista. So essentially, Rollins can't use his Money in the Bank briefcase on Batista. He can only use it on if Orton somehow finds himself on Raw, which, convenient enough now, he's only going to show up on SmackDown. So it's that kind of case where he can't. It won't be valid basically if he tries it on Orton. So with that in mind, then there's going to be two kind of story beats as we get onto Battleground. So the first one is going to be with Roman Reigns. So again, talking about how the authority is indirectly trying to undermine the Shield here. So picking up on Rollins's accidental use of the kind of the possessive noun during his promo. Reigns is going to have this chance kind of discussion with Ric Flair backstage. And Ric Flair's gonna fluff him up, saying like, you're a fucking stud, man. You've got everything you need to be a star here. You can be a 20-time world champion if you put your mind to it. You've got all the tools, all the fucking you bust them down, all this whole sort of stuff. And it'll be that kind of thing where it's in passing. Like Flair will leave. A second later, Ambrose is gonna arrive and he's gonna do his whole fucking lunatic like who the fuck were you talking to type of thing. Because again, we've established that like Ambrose is being like kind of focused in on as the weak point, and Reigns is kind of getting his head turned. So everyone in the Shield has kind of got something going on here. Um, so in the week after the kind of the Fallout pay-per-view or Fallout to the pay-per-view, the Shield are going to have a kind of miscellaneous match with somebody. Let's just say the fucking Ryback and Carbaxel in one of those type of matches, and then the Authority is going to go. Remember when I said that we have all the resources in the world? We have some from various different parts of the world. Lights go out, din 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 din. We hear the music, and the Wyatt family flank them in the ring. So for Battleground, we're getting the Shield versus the Wyatt family. Diddle it. So the way it's going to work for Battleground, just keep the kind of championships up to date. Orton's going to be defending his championship against Chris Jericho. And he's going to retain that match. It's going to be quite easy for him in that regard. Again, it helps when you have Charlotte ringside and on all this sort of stuff. So Charlotte's very much keeping almost like she's almost gaming the system a little bit. That like no one's gonna no one's gonna attack me in a sense, so I can take as much advantage as I can. So she'll ensure that Jericho loses against Orton. The Shield versus the Wyatt family one is what I want to hone in though, because the there's a little bit of disconcerting. There's a little bit of consternation between them, and well, Roman is not going to lose the match per se. He's certainly going to be a bit of a passenger in it. But the key part here is that Dean Ambrose is going to do the fake out tag, as in Reigns is going to try and tag in Dean. Dean's just going to check out. He's just going to head off and take his ball and go home. And the crowd's going, "What the fuck's going on?" type of thing. This will obviously be the opportunity then for the Wyatt family to take advantage and pick up the win against the Shield. So there's a few cracks forming against the Shield here. Rollins and Reigns are in the ring going, "What the fuck is going on? Like, this is ridiculous." And that'll end their storyline for the moment. The main event will be Orton Jericho, just to keep that ball rolling. But yeah, at the base just setting up things at the moment, the potential cracks are showing in the Shield between Ambrose and Reigns and Rollins.
Okay. I am legitimately looking forward to both SummerSlams. Like genuinely. Um, always, always love me a bit of Shield and Wyatt. Um, they never had a bad match. They were fucking fantastic together.
They weren't capable of having a bad match.
Amen.
They literally were not capable of having a bad match.
Yep. Which is mad because a load of the individual parts really are, but together it just worked. But I'm giving the month to Aaron because it was monumental to have Punk becoming the new champion again. And you didn't quote Donald Trump. So
Excellent.
The bar was on the floor.
The bar was on the floor to
Cent-
begin with. I accept that.
a
Yeah.
centimeter off the floor, and you still managed to go under.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so we are completely even at this point at two apiece.
Yeah.
With SummerSlam.
Woo! Spring break.
And in the interest of rotation, Jonathan.
Aloha. Right, and so yeah, we're going to be starting off then with I'll get the kind of business out of the way in terms of the championship. Um, so yeah, Orton is going to get another title defense. So again, it's kind of normal service really in terms of like take a pick with the championships we have here. So, the first thing we're going to have is we're going to have uh Randy Orton versus John Cena. Take your pick in terms of like how many times have you seen this shit before, but again it's going to be another Orton retaining. So the two kind of interesting tidbits we're going to have here is that um we're going to have what's kind of this story with Batista, because Batista has obviously gone a little bit part-time on people. He's going to come back on Raw with a special kind of like a special appearance from the WWE champion type of thing, and whatever kind of like chicanery that the authority are doing to ensure that basically they're sensing their opportunity and seeing that the Shield are cracking and are going to bring Batista back to get his kind of championship match out of the way. Um, so then we're going to have a battle royal to decide who faces Batista at SummerSlam. And what's going to have we're going to have just randomers in the match, like your usual kind of like your all your jobbers, all this sort of stuff. But we're going to have a masked wrestler in there as well, and he's in he's in claret and white. He has a kind of sick looking mask, but there's a lot of hair and kind of beard falling out here. And that person's going to win the battle royal. And once they see who once they realize, like, hang on, there's 21 people in the ring. There's only meant to be 20. Who's number 21? But they're going to realize it too late, essentially. And when he takes off the mask, it's fucking Daniel Bryan. He's gone back to he's come back to WWE, and his neck is fully healed. He leaves the yes chance, all this sort of stuff. So we are left with Batista versus Daniel Bryan for SummerSlam. So it's like the one little time the authority stretched themselves too thin and just kind of fucked up. They're so focused on trying to dismantle the Shield, they forgot about Daniel Bryan. So now they have to kind of like get themselves coordinated now to try and get this shit going back into their wheelhouse. So what's happening with the Shield now is what I hear you asking. So Dean Ambrose has gone to ground for the first few weeks of Raw television. So essentially, it is Rollins and Reigns fighting against the current, and they're starting to crack a little bit as well. Just whenever Reigns has his back turned, Rollins gets attacked, and vice versa. It's not always the Wyatts. It is Kane. It's Big Show. It's Rybacksel. Any other kind of grunts you can think of around the time that are being that are using this opportunity to take down the Shield, because realistically, whoever can take down the Shield will get a pretty decent kickback from the authority in terms of opportunities and potentially becoming a part of the authority. So that brings in a lot of the kind of like your mid-table, your mid-card heels to come in and go, oh yeah, no, I can claim a scalp here and take out and take them out. So either way, the cracks are showing until we get to SummerSlam, and we're going to have a rematch between the White family and the Shield. That's announced 2 weeks before SummerSlam. when we get to the now obviously you can imagine the fucking promos here, why it's like the why family is going like, we have nothing to do with the authority, we are the agents of chaos, we are simply here because there, as he used to say in the old spaghetti westerns, there ain't room for the two of us, one of us has to go, and realistically we are a family and you are not, and all this sort of stuff. And like every family, we welcome in new members all the time. So people will see someone else come out in the boiler suits with a kind of wolf mask on them and go, as is often the case, some people just join the flock because they feel that they are family and we think they're family. So let's just make it official. So Wyatt goes around. So he'll unmask Luke Harper, he'll unmask Eric Rowan, and Bush and growing the beard is Dean Ambrose. And we're thinking like, okay, this is a kind of a proper bit of confusion here. So it'll be edited as such on Raw that like he revealed the mask. You'll see Dean Ambrose with the beard, and then bip, that's all you hear about it for that episode of Raw. So then we come back then to this is on the go home then, and we have this kind of, let's just say we do a couple of singles matches between the members. So Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, let's say Luke Harper versus Seth Rollins. Rollins will pick up the win on Harper, but Wyatt will beat Reigns because of chicanery. The key thing on that will be, however, that Rollins does intervene and try and help Reigns, so the two of them are kind of together, and you can do this kind of thing where, like, like Rollins takes the sister Abigail for Reigns and stuff like that in the beatdown. But the other key point is that Dean Ambrose doesn't do anything. He's basically motionless. He's kind of like on the fence. He's just kind of like glazed type of thing. It's just like, he's almost like weighing up his options. So he'll have that moment where he could attack Wyatt or he could attack Reigns and Rollins, and he chooses neither. So he's just kind of like gone wide-eyed and kind of like, he's like he's had a really bad peyote trip essentially, and he's just weighing up his options here. So we get to the point where we come to SummerSlam, and as things stand, it's a 2-on-4 match between the Shield and the Wyatt family. And I wouldn't say it's the main event. It's not the main event for certain. Batista Daniel Bryan is the main event, and that's for logistical reasons more than anything else. So, skipping to the main event initially. This is how we get rid of Batista out of Sterling because he's got shit to do. So Daniel Bryan's going to win the WWE Championship off him and reclaim that championship. And again, authority shenanigans. They try and fight against the current. It's just not happening. Daniel Bryan's going to be the the WWE champion after SummerSlam. So what happens then in the Wyatt and Shield match? So Reigns and Rollins are fighting gallantly against the Wyatt family, and then there comes the decisive moment where Dean Ambrose has to pick a side. There is the crucial moment in the match where there's brawls, there's referee bumps, and all this other stuff, and there is a choice of a chair shot. You either hit Wyatt or you hit Rollins, and Wyatt kind of a bit of a call, almost like a call like alternate to the June the 2nd moment. Bray Wyatt's gonna turn his back on Dean Ambrose and go, "Take me, brother. If you love me, you'll join us for forever." And then we're gonna use Rollins here instead of Reigns. So Rollins is going to do the exact same thing and say, remember your real family, Dean. We're stronger together, blood thicker than water, whatever he wants to say." So Ambrose is going to make the choice, and he's going to slam the chair 3 times, and he's going to swing for Bray Wyatt. And it's a similar kind of moment to the Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family situation. He hits the dirty D's on Bray Wyatt. Rollins picks up the pin, and the Shield are stronger than ever. They've worked out their issues in a sense. So they'll do the kind of the three kind of like um the realignment in the ring, and just basically the SummerSlam will leave them with Daniel Bryan claiming one of the world championships and the Shield seemingly reforged in through the whatever hardship they've had. So that's the way we're going here on that one.
That was like fucking poetry.
Okay.
Aaron.
Right. My one obviously has gone off a completely different track. Wyatt have nothing to do with my one. So
They're miles away from each other.
Truly miles away from each other. So I actually quite like this. But there's not a lot of crossover there. Right. So you have Night afterwards, Brian comes out, demands a rematch. Punk, I'm not giving you a rematch. What am I going to do? Follow the rules? He makes the fucking rules. He points Triple H. But said, look, I feel sorry for you. You can have the match. But if you lose, you don't get to go near me or anyone in this group again until I retire. Who knows when that could be? So we have Punk, Brian. Brian loses. Obviously, can't face Punk anymore. Or can't fight for the WWE title anymore. Let's even say that. He loses. Yep. He's fucking done. Balor will start chasing the US belt, which at this point is still on Sheamus. And then Orton will win the IC belt through chicanery, and he'll have that, which will lead to SummerSlam being Balor versus Sheamus for the US belt and Ambrose versus Orton for the IC belt. We don't have Rollins involved because I didn't know where to put them in at this point. So Rollins will be a sort of a wild card going into this pay-per-view. Okay. All right. Who will he help? Will he help anyone at all? It'll be doubled down by an attack at some point leading up to the show where he is injured. And they'll say he's out for an indefinite amount of time or whatever. Oh, but is he really? So then comes the SummerSlam. Punk beats Brian. No fucking about either, really. He'll beat him 1, 2, 3 in the ring to prove he is the best in the world. Balor will knock off Sheamus, so Balor is your new US champion. And much like in real life, Orton will beat Ambrose and keep the IC belt. We now have a trio of champions in WWE with our new Vince McMahon as Triple H ahead of us. The goal's on everyone. Everyone's happy. No one is fucking angry. Again, we end yet another show with the three lads just on top, essentially. Rollins will eventually come back at some point. So will Reigns. Actually, we'll give Reigns and Rollins. I take that back. They will just, at the start of the night, Rollins will still go out. But at the start of the night, Rollins and Reigns will have a tag team match against Kane and who's another big lad on the roster?
Big Show.
There you go. Big Show's 50 million heel turn. Two of them, and they beat the shit. It's not even a match. They just fucking destroy the two lads. But Rollins gets the brunt of it. Rollins gets most of the beating that comes along with this. And yeah, so you end the night with the Shield done, out, finished. Brian nowhere to be seen in the WWE title picture anymore. So we have Balor, US champ, Orton, IC champ, Punk as the WWE champion. All happy families in Evolution. At the moment, as it stands, no fucking about. I think that may start soon in my timeline. Very close to, I think, beginning in this one. I think it'll probably start at Night of Champions. But yeah, so there we are. Kind of goes back to what we had beforehand. Balor, I think what might be a fun one is Balor will, Orton is just like, you need something special for your entrance. You need something where you do that thing in the corner. And everyone's just, Triple H, give him the shit that I used to get. So remember when they used to do the
Sparks?
The Sparks?
Yeah.
That's what Balor gets now. So that's adding on a little bit more to fucking him. And yeah. Yeah, there you go. And I just realized I have such a fun thing for Night of Champions when it comes to Balor. That has just dawned on me right there. Oh my god. Oh fuck yes. Oh my god, this is gonna be class. I'm excited for something that didn't happen. Anyway, yeah, but
Okay. Two very good SummerSlams, gentlemen. Jonathan, you're taking the month
Oh,
purely
okay.
because you delivered the Shield versus the Wyatts. I just described how much I love them. I'm a simple man.
I see the Shield versus Wyatt, and I want more.
also, I do recall like Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatts earlier that year,
Yes, he did.
and the
He did,
vacant
yeah.
look and the wildness and the whole thing. God damn, do I want to see Dean Ambrose joining the Wyatts?
Yeah,
That's excellent. He's
that's
just
literally
on
just like
like
just 2 weeks beard on like Disney. If you had like what like John Moxley with a fringe, essentially, like that's Dean
yeah,
Ambrose and the Wyatt. That's Dean Wyatt. You know, like that's
it
what
fits.
you're looking for.
And then the
Yeah,
feel good moment to close it out. I mean, you have Daniel Bryan winning the belt from Batista. That's always a win.
yeah.
And yeah. Although I did enjoy the other one too. I did. Although for a Shield story, they were very minimal. So
Hmm.
yeah, Jonathan takes August, but now Aaron, please give us your Night of Champions.
Right. Night of Champions will go as Orton will defend the IC belt against the returning Rollins. And they will have a fucking classic. Reigns will fight Sheamus. Two big beefy men going for the US belt. Punk will have his own little side quest against John Cena again for his thing. And oh no, sorry, Balor's the US champ. Fuck. That's gone. Balor will defend his US title in the final of the King of the Ring. Because they keep saying he is the prince who will become king and he will win it. So he will then officially change his name to King Balor, which he did in the Indies for a little bit before he joined WWE, as I remember, for Wrestling.ie. He was a heel there for a bit, as far as I remember. So he is now King Balor with the US title. Orton has
King Balor or King Devitt?
King Devitt's. I'm so used to Balor
Fourth,
as the
Well,
first name.
he's
it
supposed to
could
have it.
be
Yeah.
the chance. It could be
Yeah.
the time when he changes it.
No, not yet.
Okay.
He's never in my timeline. He never changes it. Balor is now Devin is now King Devin with the US belt.
Who did he
He'll go
beat
a
in the
little bit.
finals?
I don't know. Someone.
Take your
Doesn't really
pick.
matter. Yeah. Right. No, we'll say he beat Rollins. That actually works out.
Rollins is facing Orton.
Rollins is facing Orton. Ambrose. We'll go with Ambrose.
Cool.
We'll go with Ambrose. Reigns hasn't come back yet. His back. I'm getting a bit confused there. There's so many notes on my fucking page. I'm actually kind of getting myself confused. So we have. Right, I'm going to write this down because I really need to start writing shit down. Right, okay. So we have King Davis. Punk is champion. We have, and he also has the ice. He also has the US. Orton will face Rollins. That'll be the first scalp they get off them. Rollins will beat Orton for the IC belt. So Orton's going to lose his belt. And then you have Reigns, who's still currently out. So as it stands, the Shield have the IC belt. Have the IC title. And then the Authority have the World, King of the Ring, and US titles. So that's how that ends. Punk, as I said, will probably go into that night on a side quest against Cena. They'll have another fucking classic. But this time it won't end amicably. Cena might have just had his fucking, he could have nearly beat him. But, Triple H comes in and does something. Like, remember when fucking Cena hit a close fist punch one night in Raw and Vince was like, oh, you can't do that? You can't hit him with an actual punch. Some bullshit like that pisses everyone fucking off. But the end of this night will not end with Evolution standing tall. It will cause a brawl, and you'll have Bryan and the Shield and Cena in the ring looking over Evolution, who, although they have stuff, have gotten their first real cut in this battle. With Rollins losing the IC belt, with Rollins winning the IC belt, which then leads into Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Jonathan.
So night champions for me. It's a busy card, I'll have to say. It's gonna be very much it's the first time where like the Shield is very much decided to divide and conquer. Because they've been around, they've been in tons of tag team matches and trio matches since the start of this storyline. So basically, they've decided they've kind of like drawn a line, kind of broken some bread with everyone to say, and kind of gone for a bit of a strategy to try and take down their kind of like their mortal enemies here. So the one thing to mention as well is because kind of breezed over because it wasn't really involved, but I'm keeping the Brock versus John Cena match from SummerSlam, but that is now a non-title match. So that's basically Lesnar back in the fold in terms of like after taking down the streak. So so he's going to be involved more so with Daniel Bryan. Now he's a WWE champion. He needs a someone to compete against, and basically this is going to be Triple H's, the authorities kind of like break glass situation is to essentially hire Brock Lesnar to be their mercenary du jour and to try and take out Daniel Bryan once and for all. Um, what we're going to have here as well is just as a kind of a means to kind of to actually get her up and running is Charlotte facing off against AJ Lee for the Divas Championship. She's going to beat AJ Lee for that title. So that's Charlotte. Now it wouldn't be her debut. She will have had a couple of matches on Raw before this, but she's still quite new in a sense. So she's using all of her heel antics, not showing off the full Charlotte athleticism, if you like. But she is certainly kind of staking her claim here at this moment to say, okay, I'm here, I've arrived now, and I am kind of like um, showing pulling my weight in the sense in terms of evolution. So there will be kind of like essentially a moment where there's still two titles back into faction for Evolution. So you have Charlotte AJ Lee on the card. We will have Bryan versus Daniel Bryan versus Lesnar is the outright main event. But what's happening with the Shield? So we're dividing conquering here. Um, Rollins has finally confronted the authority and said, "Listen, I've got this Money in the Bank briefcase. It's a problem for you, and realistically, it's a problem for us. So why don't we come to an agreement here?" So Triple H mulls it over and goes, "Okay, um, you're gonna like we will allow you to cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase, but it can only be one of you. So you just have to choose between each other. Again, same kind of scenario." And Rollins goes, "It's fine. We've decided. I'm going for it." And they've kind of whatever kind of mutual agreement they have. So Triple H just said it's like, okay, fine, that's no problem. It's almost too easy in a sense. Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can go, you can cash in your briefcase. So Seth Rollins is going to take on Randy Orton at Night of Champions at the World Heavyweight Championship. That match is set. Dean Ambrose then, Batista's nowhere to be seen for this one, for this show. So Dean Ambrose goes, well, I've got some problems to deal with here. So he's going to take on Bray Wyatt in a singles match. Um, I would figure the Wyatt family would be tag team champions here, but it's a singles match here in this regard. And just to tie off the other few matches, Roman Reigns will challenge Triple H to a singles match on Night of Champions as well. So it's a very, very busy card, but there are shenanigans abound here. So I mentioned Charlotte versus AJ Lee. So yeah, Charlotte wins that match. Ambrose is going to get his win back against Bray Wyatt. So that's a fairly big win for him because realistically he hasn't really had a scalp all year. In that regard, so this is his first time where we actually adequately say that Dean Ambrose has won something for himself and for the Shield. Reigns will get his win off Triple H. Again, chicanery abound. There's going to be shenanigans, but it's going to be a relatively quick match because this is a very, very busy card. So the two real kind of cut and thrust are again the two championship matches. So Rollins will obviously cash in on Randy Orton. and it looks for all accounts that Rollins is going to actually get it. And they're going to bring the the World Heavyweight Championship back to the Shield. But again, the Authority has a Rolodex. They have options, and especially for Triple H, he has new blood. So the new blood he's going to roll in on is I am going to be playing my Fergal Devitt card here at this moment to bring him into the fold and to essentially be the, as a word, like his prize, his new Orton in that sense. So I was like, in truth be told, I was kind of toying with, I don't know, I wasn't sure when to bring Balor into this category because I think like just the way he is as a heel is very, very natural for Evolution or for an authority figure. So yeah, he is gonna basically gonna play full assassin here and just take out Rollins to an extent, but he's not the only one. I'm also bringing in Alexander Rusev into this equation as well. However, he is going to interfere in the Daniel Bryan and Lesnar match on the behalf of the Authority. So we're going for basically two very different approaches here from the Authority. We have basically like a striker, a more precision in terms of in terms of Balor taking out Rollins. So that's a bit of a pair up in its own right. And then to basically to beef up the monsters in the Authority, because Lesnar's a mercenary. He's not in the Authority. He has just been kind of deployed tactically like a fucking nuclear bomb. So realistically, that Authority needs muscle, and they're going to use Rusev for this as opposed to Kane, who realistically is not fit for purpose at this moment. So
Just a quick one
yeah,
there. I'm looking at
yeah,
the roster at the time. Is
yeah.
Rusev in WWE at this point?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been actually on the card for a long time. He's actually been a mid
He was
card
on the
heel.
first takeover,
Yeah,
which was on
Oh,
February
he
2014.
was.
yeah,
It's just I'm looking at the roster
He was
here, and I
still
was like,
Alexander at the time.
yeah.
that's
If
why
that
I was
helps.
questioning it, because all the A's are Adam Rose, Adrian Neville, Aiden English,
Mm.
AJ Lee, Oksana, Alberto Del Rio, Alex Riley, Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox, Angela Dawkins. There's
Mm-hmm.
no Rusev on the 2014 roster. And then on R, I was like, okay, did he switch his name at this point? We
Very
have
possibly.
our Truth, Randy Orton, Raquel Diaz, Renee Young, Rey Mysterio, Rich Brennan. That's not a fucking real name. Road Dogg, Rob Van Dam, Roman Reigns, Rosamund. Oh yeah, he was Rusev. He was
Yeah.
already
Go.
Rusev at this point. Yeah, he got his name. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He was well
I kept going
established.
up. I kept going up and cutting off that line, and then I was going down, and I was cutting off the line at the top. That's
So if you remember,
so
sure, WrestleMania 31, he has the match with Cena where he comes in on the tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm
So he
basically giving
was
him.
not only in it, he was on the main roster by then.
He was indeed, yeah.
Fuck.
So
Jesus
if anything,
Christ, time is moving too fast.
So again, I'm adding.
He actually made his main roster debut back at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, so he's been
He
in
just
the
didn't
realm.
come back until he properly debuted in the April. So yeah. But
so basically,
good
what I'm doing is I'm giving him kind of like better, like the kind of, instead of foreign heel booking, I'm giving him kind of hard gun mercenary booking, and so yeah, he's going to interfere in the WWE match, and that will ensure that Lesnar wins the WWE Championship, and that basically takes that championship out of the kind of the booking. So that's going to go into more of the Lesnar vein. Daniel Bryan will just have to lick his wounds, and again, fucking Authority screw me over again. But the main kind of takeaways is that now Balor and Rusev are now Authority aligned. So yeah, Orton still retains the World Heavyweight Championship. The Money in the Bank briefcase is now out of the Shield's realm, and they're back licking the wounds again. But again, weirdly enough, the two people that had a lovely time were Ambrose and Reigns. So one peg has been taken down, and two of them gone back up. So it's been a mixed night for the lads.
very fair.
Right then. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jamie, who takes Night of Champions?
Honestly, I enjoyed both of them. Love the fact that even though you've taken completely different directions, you both did Orton and Rollins.
Yeah, funny how that works,
It
doesn't
seems
it?
the most natural. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems the most natural fucking feud out of like the two groups going with each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like them both. But I'm going to give it to Aaron in the interest of keeping this shit even. Because we're nearing the end.
Right.
Such a quality based book in here. I like that.
Oh, genuinely, this is cooking.
Mm.
See how we finish it out. Okay. Jonathan, you went
Hell,
second, so you're up first. Hell in
I'm
a
up
Hell in a
Cell.
Cell now, isn't it?
It is Hell in a Cell indeed. So,
Hell in a Cell.
um,
The
so
second to
with
last
that,
pay-per-view.
it
You've only got
is
two to go, boys.
indeed we do. So, where are we going with this? So, I'll start off with the low-hanging fruit anyway. So with Lesnar now WWE Championship, this is I'm taking the WWE Championship now out of the kind of realm now in this stage. This is to basically get Lesnar fully primed as champion. I know there was a bit of like hot potato between him and Cena during this year anyway, but I'm fully now. This is all Lesnar all the way up to WrestleMania. And to that extent, the main event will be a Hell in a Cell match between him and a returning Undertaker, getting trying to get his revenge for breaking the streak. And again, whatever flavor of Undertaker you want here in this scenario, take your pick. I'm not really that fussed. It's not really part of my remit here at the moment. But realistically, it is going to try. It is now a case of the Shield now realigning again, and more crucially with Daniel Bryan. So that's the kind of key part here is that there is a bit of a conundrum here with Daniel Bryan. So. Uh, what Daniel Bryan is going to have here is going to have a kind of scenario where he's getting properly picked on here. So he's going to be in a handicap match himself with Rusev and Balor. So these two new kind of like guns are basically their first task is to take out Daniel Bryan once and for all. That is the main kind of cut and thrust of it. Um, while this is happening, basically over the few kind of like episodes of Raw that we're having, the Shield are taking their kind of like their moments to try and take to pick on kind of central moments of the Authority. So Orton's getting picked on, Batista does like a special guest appearance and again gets wailed on by Reigns or something. So it's all these kind of little victories, a few little pot shots across. So whereas when like Orton takes a pop at Ambrose, Reigns is taking a pop at Triple H gets sledgehammer, all this sort of stuff. So basically there's little pissing contests between the two camps throughout the episodes of Raw. But basically, it's going to transpire is that the Shield are banned from Hell in a Cell. That is the cut and thrust of it. They are not allowed to compete in Hell in a Cell. They're not allowed near the building. Absolutely nothing. It's all not happening, right? So uh, where that leads us is so Lesnar Undertaker is the main event, so that's still kind of like going as planned. But again, the authority has said, right, we've distracted ourselves from Daniel Bryan long enough. It's time to get rid of this guy once and for all, and we'll deal with the Shield another time. So Daniel Bryan is going to have Rusev and Balor inside Hell in a Cell as well, because we have two Hell in a Cell matches during this card. So this could be like kind of in the middle of the card, let's say, because that's kind of how they do it. They do a few kind of like filler matches in between, whatever. So we're gonna have Rusev and Balor in this Hell in a Cell match. But we're going to be having so the other members of the authority are kind of like flanking the outside of the Hell in a Cell, so it stays in the confines of it. So you'll have Orton floating around with his shiny belt because you know he's not defending it today. He had a token defense against fucking R-Truth on Monday Night Raw, so he does or on SmackDown, so he doesn't need to defend the title tonight. He's taking it easy. You have Triple H there, you have Charlotte, you have Stephanie McMahon, everyone just like, you know, suit and booted. They're just almost with the popcorn out, waiting to see what happens with this Daniel Bryan massacre, essentially. Um, so with that in mind, Bryan again is fighting back kind of like bravely against Rusev and Balor. It's looking like it's all going to plan until he starts rallying and he starts doing the whole yes movement and everything's starting to come to it. And it looks like he's going to win this handicap match by hook or by crook. However, that's when the cards start being played. So the Triple H, you know, rabble tells the ref to open the door, and in comes Triple H, and he takes a knee to the head, and in comes Orton RKO's Daniel Bryan. So now it's suddenly 4-on-1, and it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Um, then somehow again Brian with rallying here still he'll have these four people in the corners. He'll have Rusev, he'll have Balor, he'll have Triple H and Orton all in the corners, and he's doing the whole rallying around, hitting the knees. But there's always number five, and here's fucking Batista. You know, he just happened to be in town. It's in Washington. Sure, fuck it, who cares? Who's really paying attention here? So he comes in, he gives a Batista bomb, and now it's looking like finally they're starting to pick the bones here. The door gets locked, padlocked in, all this sort of stuff. So it's looking like that's it then. That's us done. So then when we hear rumbling from outside, cameras cut out to the end of the backstage, and this big fucking SUV starts rocking up, and it's like got a bulwark, and it's got this kind of weird, like it's all blacked out and stuff like that, and it just starts mowing through the arena, as it's like it's going whether people want it or not, and it's down the horn and all that sort of stuff, and it basically gets to the arena, and again, the bulwark probably should give it away, but out comes the Shield with plenty of accoutrements to get into the cell. So like Reigns and Rollins come out with whatever else is, but Ambrose, proper chainsaw Charlie style, he's got a fucking chainsaw to break open the cell. So
Well,
he's
Jonathan
going.
won this one.
Yeah, so he's going fucking Tonto with this, and he cuts the Hell in a Cell across, and Rollins. Yeah. So he comes in and he tears a fucking hole through the Hell in a Cell. Rollins Reigns makes the save and the Authority Scarper. So now we see an actual like alliance now between Daniel Bryan and the Shield. Honorary member, shall we say? He can get the kind of Kurt Angle fucking provisional armor if he wants to. So there you go. So that's the angle that I've got for those two matches. So it's just those two matches I'm booking for Hell in a Cell at the moment.
Okay. Is Charlotte defending the Divas belt?
For argument's sake, yes, we'll say she is, and let's say she
Throwaway
beats
match.
Paige. Yeah, she beats Paige. Let's just say that's the match that happens in between the two Hell in a Cells, where it's like kind of awkward. It's like, yeah.
Okay. And Aaron. Fuck,
Right.
man. You may have already lost this. That one had a chainsaw. Go on.
Yeah. I've kind of
It's
accepted.
literally fringe. Like I have to give Ambrose something.
I've kind of accepted the fact that I've lost this one, but I'll try anyway. So this would be a big build-up to Hell in a Cell. Firstly, I did say Cena wouldn't be involved in this, but I realized very fucking quickly that the only options I had for Cena in this position were a Lesnar face run, which doesn't work because he's a crap face. Batista coming back as a face, but again, I'd have had to suspend reality a bit too much, and he's doing this match in the middle of it. It doesn't really work. I think they would have been filming Infinity War at this point.
No.
Possibly. No, they weren't.
No.
They weren't. But
Guardians
still,
2 wouldn't have even been filmed at this point.
No, something. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
So basically, what's going to happen is it's getting spicy. Orton has lost his belt. There's a whole thing. Cena is kind of involved with it, but not really. But basically, he challenges Triple H to a match, and Triple H is like, "Not a fucking hope. I'm not fucking doing it." But Cena will goad him and goad him and goad him. He's like, "You want me in a match? You're getting in the match that I am the best at." The opening of Hell in a Cell that year will be Cena versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell match. The second one, Ambrose will go after Devitt, but not for the US belt. We're going to get a little wacky with Devitt stuff, with Ambrose's stuff. So he's actually going to try and take the crown off him because he's realized that means more to him being a king than the belt does. So he wants to take his crown. Orton, Rollins, and Bryan will have a triple threat match for the IC belt. So Bryan's going to be involved in this too.
so it was Orton, Rollins, and Bryan?
Bryan for the IC belt.
Okay.
And the main event will leave only two people left, which would be Punk will face Reigns for the WWE Championship. That'll be decided because Triple H goes, one of you are going to do it, not all of you. You have a triple threat match the week beforehand to decide who faces him. But I think in terms of the booking on TV, everyone can kind of see where it's going. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone knows it's going to be Reigns. So that means Cena will batter Triple H in the Hell in a Cell. The two of them will beat the shit out of each other, right? It'll be a pretty brutal match, but Cena will come out with the victory. When it comes to the Devitt and Ambrose one, Devitt will win because he's not going to lose his crown as of yet. The triple threat match will have Orton regaining his IC belt because although Rollins and Bryan do work together, at the end of the day, still a title. So they'll eventually have a bit of a fucking like, what the fuck are you doing? Bryan will try and pin Rollins at some point, and it'll cause just some skirmishes. Orton will come in and fucking RKO the both of them, let's say, out of nowhere. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Stack the bodies on top of each other, pin them. He wins it. He walks out as champion. And this is where then the biggest scalp. Everyone thinks they finally, right, we're settled again. Triple H may have lost, but Orton's got his belt back. Fucking Balor keeps his crown. Reigns wins the WWE Championship for the first time against Punk in a Hell in a Cell match, which would be the biggest scalp leading into Survivor Series. This is Reigns' first WWE Championship win. It'll be his biggest moment so far. Doesn't matter whether they didn't win the rest of them. He won the WWE Championship against CM Punk. The Authority will do whatever the fuck they can, but even the roster's getting sick of it. So the roster will come in and cause some fucking hassle. Like some of the bigger baby faces. Maybe someone from NXT as well. Do you know? A couple of NXT call-ups to come out. Ryback will try and fuck over Reigns. Fucking, I don't know. Let me go through the roster here. The Miz will probably try and go in because they're all getting a pay slip. You know what I mean? This might be the return of Vince. To fucking say, get fucking out. You're all getting money. Fucking go. Luke Harper's going out. Eric Rowan's going out. All the big men. Kane's trying to fucking go in. But you'll also have a bunch of fucking faces that'll do it. There's fucking mayhem. And then amongst all of that, Reigns pins Punk in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. The show ends with, again, everyone in the ring celebrating his win. The Authority has taken its biggest scalp, its most important scalp so far with Punk losing the belt. And that lead into, I think you can imagine what my Survivor Series main event is going to be. But you don't. And that's the fucking joy of it. Because I have a wild card in for that main event. And that lead into it. So as it stands, Reigns is your WWE champion. Orton is your IC champion. Devitt keeps his crown and has the US title. And Cena has picked up in a brutal match against Triple H his win over Triple H, which will lead directly in to Survivor Series. And a little fun title match I have there. Now, I know I've lost this one.
Oh, you motherfucker, because that Reigns title win's really good.
Reigns winning the title, I think, is the best point for this. And it does end my fucking storyline very well. I've got to be honest. Personally, I think it's some good booking on my side. But look.
I can't believe the chainsaw's not winning. I fucking loved it though. You're making this hard. Until you're making this hard by being good. Get some shit bucket in here.
Well, I'm sorry, all right? It's almost like it's a competitive battle or something.
Almost. Okay. Survivor Series, Aaron. Let's have it.
Right. Survivor Series. Lead up to it. We'll say there's 5 weeks in between it. Punk missing for the first 2 weeks. Licking his wounds. Triple H has said, we're angry at him. But don't you worry. There's always a plan B. I have plans. He'll just kind of go off and it's like, I've got a plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. I've got plans. Don't you worry. I've got, safety nets for my safety nets. It will lead into the Shield, who are now aligned with Bryan and Cena, going into Survivor Series as Team 1. And the Authority will have Punk coming back, Devitt, Orton, but Triple H can't fight in this match.
Well done. Okay.
Triple H is too banged up. He's going to ham it up. A la fucking Vince. coming out in a wheelchair. He's got a neck brace on. Got a cast on his leg. I can't fight in this. But don't you worry. I know someone who'll do anything for money and who loves hurting people. And Brock Lesnar music sits and takes out fucking everyone. Just fucking destroys everyone and sets up the main event in the last week beforehand. The Shield with Bryan and Cena versus the Authority with Lesnar. And he says whoever picks up the pin, whoever does the last pin will be WWE champion. That's the key thing here. So it leads into Survivor Series.
Okay. So just to confirm, we're talking Ambrose, Rollins, Reigns, Bryan, and Cena versus Orton, Balor, Punk, Brock Lesnar, and Kane?
Oh, fuck, I didn't do the numbers right now. Shit.
Because you brought up Batista earlier on, so it would have to be Kane in that direction.
We'll say Kane. We'll say
Okay.
Kane's getting out of them. Two big men, odds are stacked against them. You have the Beast. You have was he called the Devil's favorite son at one point? The corporate
Devil's favorite demon.
Yeah, Devil's favorite demon. But you have corporate him. It leads into Survivor Series. There's a back and forth match. Devitt gets knocked out. Orton gets knocked out. Kane gets knocked out. It leaves Punk and Lesnar. Lesnar dismantles Bryan. He dismantles Rollins. He dismantles Cena. Reigns gets the pin over Lesnar. But he is fucked. Punk is fucked. And this is where the Shield breaks up. Because Triple H, for the weeks leading up to it, doesn't really trust Punk anymore. But he does trust Reigns now. And he's the future. He was wrong. He picked the wrong guy. Reigns will spare Punk and get the win, keep his belt, but in that, wins it for the Authority instead of the Shield. And he goes off. He turns heel instead. So you have a heel Reigns in his first WWE title win in this new look Authority. Punk is out, gone. We won't see him for months, let's say. He's probably gone. He's probably not going to come back to the Rumble. Ambrose and Rollins are in a state of shock. They try to go and attack him. Doesn't matter. Lesnar will fucking take him out. And then you have that standing tall with the new Authority. Lesnar, let's just say, fucks off. If Lesnar, Orton, Devitt, and Triple H in the center of the ring, everyone's fucking happy, except for, the fans, as we're in a state of shock because he's turned on him instead, and that's how we end up.
Okay.
I feel like that's a fucking...
That's a coup.
Yeah. I feel like that's really fucking good. I think that would be the perfect way of setting up a heel Reigns, doing the... I mean, you could probably book that for him to have that belt. Not as long as he did recently, but...
Yeah, but what you've done there is you put the belt on Brock or put the belt on Roman while the fans still wanted to see it. And then just when they were getting ready to be to hate the big dog, you turned him heel.
Very good timing.
You do the heel turn.
Beautiful.
You do the heel turn before it ever happens. And he's still it'd be a lot like the Rock turning heel at Survivor Series all those years ago.
You see, it's also very similar to the Rock at Deadly Game. I wrote I think this was the year, it may have been the following year. I actually wrote like a fantasy booking thing on the Irish Wrestling Forum, whatever the fuck that yoke is.
Yeah.
Facebook. I think Amy is actually a mod on it.
She's still a mod. She's still a mod there,
yeah. But it was like one of the it was one of the very few posts I ever made on it. But at the time, I did something quite similar. So, but before we go awarding anything, do you have anything else to add to Survivor Series, Aaron?
No, it just ends with everyone at the end. The new Authority. I knew everything. Well, I wonder where that takes us. We'll never know because we're not booking after this.
We will, because the epilogue is coming up next. But
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, hopefully the epilogue is the deciding vote. So, okay, so I'll get the AOBs out of the way first. So, turn of the championship, the tangential kind of storylines. Charlotte is still going to be on the tear in the women's division. She's going to have a triple threat match with the Bellas, so she's going to beat them comprehensively. Let's just say the Bellas are having their kind of like I wish you died in the room feud at this point, just to get out of the way. And at least Charlotte is going to go, he's about shit at this. Fucking wipe the floor with him, you know? So she's on an absolute tear in her division. She's a one-woman division, really, at this point. And that'll hopefully precipitate then some call-ups and some kind of like, you know, wrestlers coming in to actually challenge her. In terms of the WWE Championship match, that's going to be Lesnar Cena. So Lesnar's going to tear Cena apart in that regard, kind of similar to the just annihilation he had against him at SummerSlam, except this one's for the title. So Lesnar has been presented now as the actual final boss as opposed to anyone else. So then we get to the Survivor Series build-up. So I'll start off very much at the beginning, right after the whole Hell in a Cell fallout. So we have seemingly a solid quartet of the Shield and Daniel Bryan very much going anti-authority. They are very much Team Anarchy, and they are doing is whatever they can to try and tear down the authority. So they're in a weird way trying to be, they're almost like a little bit DX to Triple H in a sense. Like they're tagging up his office and all that sort of stuff. They're just doing anything to just get under his skin, you know. And even over that one episode of Raw, like, you know, whatever kind of like weird shit Ambrose does, you know, take your pick really. He can just be like, in a weird way, Ambrose is kind of used as the actual like as the person to prod people in the ribs. He's like, you know, can we go to Mount Splashmore? Can we go to Mount Splashmore? Can we go to Mount Splashmore? He's going to be used in that sense. Whereas like, whereas like Brian is almost is the Vox Populi. He's got the people in his hands. Rollins is the coordinator. He's the one that's kind of come up with all this sort of stuff. And Reigns is just kicking through doors. He is just bashing through. He's at the finding Rusev and brawled him in the arena. He's the attack dog of the operation. So basically, Triple H like calls a halt to this whole nonsense and goes, "Listen, we've got a show to run here. You know, this is not a fucking anarchic like chaos situation. This isn't the attitude. This isn't like 10, 15 years ago. You can't just run roughshod over everyone. This is an organization. We have stakeholders. We have sponsors. All this corporate speak." So he proposes this. He says, "I'm willing to. We can put all this to bed at Survivor Series. The Authority will put their power on the line in a 5-on-5 match. If you can find if it's 5-on-5, if you agree to it, the Shield also has to dissolve if you lose. So it's either Authority or Shield, not both. It is a kind of a callback to the Wyatt family kind of parodying that this town ain't big enough for the two of us. But it's now a case of like it's either one or the other. The Authority is surviving or the Shield. And he's adamant about 5-on-5 because at the moment it's only four, and that numbers game is very much the story going into Survivor Series. So even though you had this kind of wonderful catharsis in the first week where they were using all their little tricks and ideas to get what they wanted for Triple H, they now have it. They now have the Survivor Series match. The opportunity to get rid of the Authority once and for all is there. And again, the Authority team is in place fairly quickly. It's Triple H, it's Randy Orton, Batista, Rusev, and Balor. So they're locked in fairly quickly. But the numbers game is really becoming a problem. So we're going to do a little segment in NXT halfway through this program where Daniel Bryan is going to go into recruitment mode. I'm going to head down and he's going to try and see if there's anyone in NXT that is willing to join the basically the anarchists for all intents and purposes. And you know, just even for the crack, like there will be like I'm thinking of a real kind of old school Survivor Series thing, you know, where like you have like these two like weird flavors mixing. So I'm picturing like a Shield logo with the Daniel Bryan like kind of anarchy kind of color like logo over it. So he's there. He's kind of like, you know, he's going like, listen, we need a fifth hand here. So he's asking around. So he's asking the likes of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, a lot of indie darlings in particular, Adrian Neville. You know, any of you guys fancying it? And they're just kind of looking around, kind of like, you know, it's the whole narrative is that like they'd love to absolutely ask me next week, no problem, but Triple H is kind of holds a dominion over this place. If I say no to him, I lose my job. Which kind of gives a kind of implication of how Balor got his gig as well. So maybe Balor was made to take the job as well. So the likes of it, like Hideo Itami, anyone he asks, it's just gonna get no fucking humor out of him. So that'll come to a point where Balor attacks Bryan in kind of Full Sail and have to kind of brawl around the arena. It's a nice little kind of moment for the Full Sail for Balor as well to actually kind of have his kind of. I know he wasn't there for long at this point, but it's at least like a little bit of interaction there at a smaller scale. So by all accounts, it's looking like it's going to be 5-on-4 as they come into the Survivor Series. So I'm going to have a kind of a segment basically like let's just say for argument's sake, do we have a kind of a spot where the Orton, Triple H, and Batista do a triple power bomb to members of the Shield, let's say some sort of concerted effort anyway to beat them up. So these lads are battered and bruised going into the match. Everyone's taped up, everyone's like wounded and stuff like that, and they look tired. Is the whole thing. Well, not Ambrose. He's like playing with a fucking yo-yo or something. But Rollins and Reigns in particular are reading the room here and saying we can't keep this up. Like this is exhausting. Like no matter how much we try, we are fighting against the system here, and it's not going to go well for us. Whereas they're looking at Brian going, have you got any other connections, anyone? And I go like, I've got one option left, and it's not looking good. You know, so it's a case of where like we might have to be waiting all night for this type of thing. So uh, it's a very much case where like it's like he could like it could work out, but it's a long way, is what he says. It's a long way from there, so we'll see. So anyway, we get to the main event. So this is the outright main event. Lesnar Cena has to play second fiddle here, unfortunately. So the Authority's going to come out first. They're going to have a joint entrance. They're going to do this beautiful like Evolution Plus entrance where they have the five people line of stern. Charlotte's going to be there with her title, dressed up to the nines. Ric Flair's at ringside, pat himself down silly, all this sort of stuff. Everyone's there. This is a kind of like a kind of like celebration, a victory lap for the Authority here because they're in this Tennessee. And again, no war wounds, no bruises, no nothing. They're all in immaculate condition. They're all absolute thoroughbreds ready to go for this match. And then we get the Anarchists, we get the Shield, we get Daniel Bryan, and wonderfully they are going to do a joint Shield entrance. So they're all going to come in from different places of the arena, and you can like it'll be this kind of thing where you'll see Rollins, you'll see Ambrose, you'll see Reigns. You won't see Bryan's entrance, but you'll hear the yes, yes, yes. You'll hear that, and your camera will find him eventually in his like whatever combined attire they have for this. So what they are going to do is when they get to, they're not going to take the ring initially. They are going to have this moment where they're kind of like scoping it out, going like, almost stalling it a little bit. They're just kind of just buying for time to a certain moment. And, they're going to cut a promo beforehand, this type of thing. And they're saying like, it's like, listen, look, we have to take these guys down. It's the last thing that we do. And then Brian's going to like, get some sort of signal or something like that. And he's going to take the last bit of the promo and he's going to tell, you know, for some like whatever way he says it, he's going to end the promo with the phrase, "Well, look what time it is. It's clobbering time." And out comes the music, out comes CM Punk through the crowd, no less. He is going to have he's going to go with the whole thing. And like the guy's like practically in his street clothes, essentially. Like he's not fit to compete in a sense, but he is the fifth person because that was the caveat. It had to be a 5-on-5 match or else it wasn't going to happen. So Punk is drafted in. The Authority is fuming at this. Like they are not fucking happy with this situation, but we're underway. And the first, and I'll go beat by beat in terms of the story, but I'll kind of skip the middle of it. The first elimination out is going to be Triple H versus CM Punk. Punk is just going to spark out Triple H straight away. It's going to be a simple elimination from that sense. It's a bit of catharsis for Punk against Triple H. Perhaps a call back to that match they were meant to have at Mania 30. You know, take your pick on that one. And Triple H is out early, so it's immediately the Authority are in kind of serious jeopardy here. In the middle of the match, kind of like, slows down the pace a little bit and we start whittling down some numbers here. But ultimately, what we're going to be left with is Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose against Orton and Batista. So so after whittling away the chaff, so let's just say, Rusev, like Balor takes out Punk, let's say, so that's a bit of a passing the torch moment. Rusev will take out Bryan, and just like those kind of like little feathers in their cap, and the Shield will kind of like it. Ultimately, we're still back to like the Shield versus the Evolution, and the numbers game, ironically now, is going to be working in the Shield's favor because they're stronger than ever, and they align, they take out Orton and Batista pretty much in quick succession. Maybe a double pin, whatever kind of like formal kind of like end of the match you think is best. But ultimately, the sole survivors are the members of the Shield, and Bryan and Punk will take their kind of flowers in that sense. And they'll kind of like they'll leave and have their own kind of like celebrations at ringside. But the fight, so with that, then the authority dissolves, much like the like main canon, as it were, the authority basically losing because of Dolph Ziggler going on a fucking mad one. For all intents and purposes, this one's going to be that the Shield finally kind of like prove their mettle in a sense. But again, the three of them are gonna do their kind of their signature pose with the three fists, and they all give each other a nod. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go like that's like they are gonna both all take off the tactical vest at the same time, leave them in the ring, and they're gonna do a curtain call. The three are gonna hug it out, and they're just gonna end the show on that. So that is them saying we're ending the Shield on our own terms. We have decided that we're going our separate ways, and it's not because of the authority, it's because we have outgrown the Shield. There is no need for the Shield because Punk is around. He's happy. He's after getting his one up on the system. The like chaos is won over this whatever structure they have. So now going into TLC and the Rumble and WrestleMania, you now have five very strong candidates all going in vying for position for two championships. Because Orton still has the World Heavyweight Championship at this point, and he is available for TLC. So any one of those five, I'd say probably Punk or Bryan would probably take on Orton at that point. And
But hang
then
on, 'cause now we're into epilogue territory,
yeah, exactly. So
and
we'll
you
we'll
will be
cross that
going
bridge when we
first.
come to it. But yeah.
So no, but you are in the ascendancy for
Yeah, yeah.
doing that. So by all means, continue.
Okay,
Can I
right.
get that again, please?
Yeah, sure. So for the epilogue, then I'll kind of group. Well, when you're kind of the epilogue, are you can like from like story beats to Mania, or where are you going from that?
Not
Yeah,
even necessarily. Just sort of you've made your statement piece there, and it was fucking beautiful. Just sort of where does it go from there, roughly?
okay, roughly.
You don't have
So
to go into any detail.
yeah,
Possibly till Mania. Like, Christ, you have one third of the Rumble in that main event, and it's a hell of a
that's that's
Rumble.
that's the gist of it. Really, is to just have a particularly stacked Rumble. So yeah, so whatever TLC match you have, I would say the one that makes sense is Punk and Orton,
Mhm.
mainly because I just don't really see like with Punk with the booking that he has, he could potentially either win or lose against Orton. I'd be kind of favoring Orton to win that match personally, because I think Punk would be kind of better off chasing than actually just winning it straight away. So he could go very well get back go into the Rumble himself and have another go. But either way, you have five very very strong contenders now for a face Rumble winner against two like super villains in a sense. Like Orton will have the legacy of the kind of evolution booking and the authority booking. He's the kind of the big winner from it. Rusev likewise, like he will still have Lana to kind of the pal around with, but he still has that kind of authority flavor to him. Then you got Balor. Balor now is the suited and booted. He is the Seth Rollins character, essentially, just given a different kind of persona. He is the visionary, the architect. He's essentially that. Like, so he can start amassing a few other friends from developmental. He can start showing that kind of like the whatever kind of like de facto Bullet Club that was we all wanted to see. He could do it now in his own time because he has the charisma, he has the connections, and he has the kind of the villainry to do it. So he can do his own thing in that sense. And with Triple H, he ends up having his fucking dalliance with Sting. Nothing changes there really. He just ends up being like cool dad with a WrestleMania entrance every year, so that doesn't change anything. But for the Shield, realistically, they're all now with equal footing because they all faces. They all now competing for the same kind of bit of territory. So at some point, I'd imagine they'll all start splintering off into the different brands. So one or two of them will go to SmackDown. Probably Ambrose, I'd say, realistically, will go to SmackDown. Um, Maybe Bryan as well. Who knows? So I'd say if you're doing a split between the five, three will stay Raw and two on SmackDown. I'd say, just to be fair. And out of a Rumble winner there, I would probably say Reigns would probably win the Rumble and still take on Lesnar. I think that logic still holds out. It just means that Reigns doesn't have the veneer of the kind of like, blue-eyed babyface booking. He has now shown his licks from having all these kind of battles and wars over the time without necessarily being the top guy. Rollins was almost like the de facto leader of the Shield in this scenario. So now it's suddenly like, oh, okay, he won the Rumble fair and square. He eliminated Rollins last. So let's see how he does against Lesnar. Orton's handy for the other championship, so fuck it. Let's have Orton Rollins at WrestleMania 2. What a fucking beautiful match that is. That maintains the canon booking, except Rollins and Orton is for the championship instead.
And very importantly, that move can still happen.
Exactly. And again, if Orton wins the match based off that, Rollins goes, okay, fair enough, you beat me. That's fair cop. Okay, that's fair. You didn't rely on anyone to do that. You did that by yourself, man. So yeah, that's my logic for that's my, if you pardon the pun, the legacy of this storyline.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Aaron, any closing notes from yours? Where do we go from there?
What's going to go on from here is Rollins and Ambrose will not be seen for a bit. But that does lead Reigns to have 3 championship matches before WrestleMania.
Wonderful.
The first one being against Bryan, which then will lead into Cena, and then will lead into Punk. In between all that, one of the Shield members will actually no. What happened is we get to the Royal Rumble. Last 4 will be Ambrose, Rollins. We say Punk and Bryan. Every single one of them have a grudge against Reigns, so it leaves something lovely there. It'll end with the 2 members of the Shield at the end, and they will draw. 2 feet, all feet will hit the floor at the exact same time, which will eventually lead to a Mania main event that we never got, but we did get in other events. The Shield will main event WrestleMania that year, and I don't know who you win that match. I don't think there's a loser out of that, to be honest. The Authority will probably end up keeping Reigns as champion. Maybe. I think you could either do Reigns as champion or Rollins as champion out of that. I think Ambrose yet isn't there. He wasn't even there for a bit after the Shield actually imploded. I think it took about a year for him to get his first win after when he won Money in the Bank. Or no, was it about a year before he finally got it and they all held it in the same night?
The what?
Wasn't it? How long before Ambrose won the WWE title? Was it about a year after when they broke up?
I think that was longer. I felt that was nearly 2 years.
Yeah. I think it was 2016 Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long ass time they were waiting for him.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he's still gonna go off and do his own thing after the main event. Rollins and Reigns will probably have a back and forth for a while. Let's say leading up to, let's say Reigns keeps the belt at Mania, they'll do a back and forth for a while, and eventually Rollins will beat him at SummerSlam of the following year. That ends the Authority storyline. Done and dusted. Finished. Kaput. Ambrose will probably continue to feud with. He'll be in the vortex of an Orton and Balor thing going on. He'll go after both of them. Eventually, he'll probably just hone in on Orton. He sees him as the bigger scalp. Balor will just go off and do his own thing. Probably fuck off. It'll eventually just slowly disband. When SummerSlam comes around the following year, that's where you finally just break it off. The Authority's no more. Finished. We're done. Everyone's doing their own storylines. Seth Rollins is the king of the mountain as the big babyface champion for the next while. Maybe Reigns comes back eventually and feuds with Punk. He feuds with Ambrose. Still a heel. And then you could eventually do the big babyface turn down the line. You could wait about 2 years before you do the big babyface turn, to be fair.
Yeah.
Before you actually do eventually turn him. But that's where it goes. It goes off with a bang till we get to about SummerSlam, and at that point, everyone's aware we're probably at the end of it now. And they don't do a bloodline scenario where they milk it for an extra 2 years for the shits and giggles. By the time that finishes, everyone's fucking sick of it. Whereas this one, they finish it off relatively hard. It peters out. Triple H goes back to being a fucking prick at some point. He probably faces Reigns. That'll be his big moment where he comes out as a face. That'll probably be his defining thing, let's say, 2 WrestleManias ahead.
For the crack, actually, do you want us both to take a pot shot at the WrestleMania 31 card based off this?
Oh, for the love of God, please do, because you're at 4 apiece and I can't decide.
Okay, right. Do you know
Because, Jonathan, you won Survivor Series.
All right, okay.
The Shield ending on their own terms is fucking poetry.
We're given it's not it I would say I felt like you were having a worse time being a contestant, but I think you're actually worse out there. You're having serious trouble picking between your children here, I think.
Genuinely.
When we take pot when we do like a penalty shootout, like we have like 5 matches on the Mania card, and we both take turns on it. Okay, right. I have to write these down now to make sure they're not clashing with each other.
Yep.
So bear with me here. And they all have to be relevant to the story, yeah?
As relevant as you can make it.
Grand. Okay.
I know Aaron has the Shield triple threat.
I have about 4 matches here, I would say.
Okay. That's a max of 5, so that's good.
And then based off those 5 matches, then Jamie, you can like we can do like what's our first choice or second choice, third choice, whatever. Go from there. Yeah, steady. Okay.
Can I go first? Because I already kind of have my card ready to go.
Yeah, you can go first. Yeah, go for it.
Go first.
So you have the Shield 3-way. Rollins wins. Rollins loses. Reigns wins. Balor versus Bryan.
Balor versus Bryan.
Bryan will win. He'll take the US belt. Cena versus Lesnar. Lesnar will win. And then the last one will probably be, you probably get Sheamus involved here at some point when it comes to the authority. They said the mid-card or upper mid-card point, Sheamus will probably get involved. So he's the most natural person to get involved, and he'll face Orton, but Orton will beat him. No titles on the line except for the top 2, which is the 3-way and Bryan versus Balor. Bryan will probably take his US belt at that point. And Balor won't win his... Sorry. Devitt won't win his first Mania. Lesnar beating Cena.
Okay. Jonathan?
Right. I don't know.
Okay. So my 5 matches for Mania. Myself and Aaron have agreed on Daniel Bryan versus Finn Balor. My one is non-title, however, it is just a wrestling exhibition match. It's your Angle, Stevie Richards of the night. It is just pure wrestling, beat the shit out of each other and someone falls over. And I am going to have Finn Balor win that match against Daniel Bryan on that one. Elsewhere, seeing that she was a great benefactor of the booking, I'm going to have Charlotte having a Divas match or Divas Championship match against Trish Stratus, because she will have wiped the floor with the rest of the division and now she needs more competition. So instead of looking we're not quite yet able to look forward with the horsewomen yet. So let's look backwards and give her a proper dream match against Trish Stratus. Especially at this point as well, because like it's a match that we're not quite clamoring for yet until we know we want it. So it's that kind of thing where like let's give these 2 girls a proper match, and that's your first benchmark for what would become the future women's division. That's my second one. Now we come to the 3 Shield matches, as it were. So 2 you know about already: Rollins versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship, That's on the back of Rollins being second last out of the Rumble, but let's just say for argument's sake he wins the Elimination Chamber, if there is one. I don't think it actually is in this one. Did he do Elimination Chamber Fastlane? I don't think so. Probably not. Doesn't matter. So then the main event would be still Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. So in those ones there, I am going to have Orton beating Rollins. I'm going to have Roman beating Lesnar in those two.
Perfect.
But my ace in the hole is, what do I do with Dean Ambrose? Because Dean Ambrose is a crazy man. He's a loopy. His booking, he will have volunteered to be number one in the Rumble because he wanted to go all the way. He's gonna do it. He's doing it his way. Fuck it, who cares? And he will have got to the bottom, to the final three. It will be a Shield reunion in the end of the Rumble. He'll be third out in that regard. So he thinks to himself, look it, I don't really want titles. I don't want this. I want to have fun. So Dean Ambrose is going to challenge The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Jesus
And he's just gonna have a lovely fucking time doing so. So those are my 5 matches: Charlotte Trish Stratus, Daniel Bryan Finn Balor, Rollins Orton for the title, Reigns Lesnar for the title, and Dean Ambrose versus The Undertaker as Taker's return match to Mania after losing the streak.
Yep. And I would like to congratulate Mr. Jonathan Nolan on winning the booking challenge. Actually, do you know what actually did it? I actually weirdly love Ambrose Taker because it's the soft way for Taker to come back and get his win back.
Yeah.
And, weapons to hide the slowing down and not do the physicals. The point that I actually fucking loved there was Charlotte versus Trish. Because Charlotte, at that age, versus Trish, perfect passing of the torch. Balor and Bryan cancelled each other out from both of you because, fucking excellent match. Points to both of you. Cena Lesnar, Reigns Lesnar, both of those are good. Sheamus Orton, Shield triple threat, I love. And neither of you booked Punk.
To be fair, if Punk was more central in my storyline, I'd have him up against Bray Wyatt.
Oh, yeah, okay, you win.
Like Voice the Voiceless versus the two cult leaders. Essentially, it is a cult of personality match.
Imagine the fucking promos we would have gotten.
Yeah. Like just look at that match card. Just look at that match card for WrestleMania. Punk Wyatt is sixth in the booking there, just based off that. But again, that's only because he was not even remotely tangential in the feud. So in the overarching story.
I did nearly have Punk in the triple threat to make it a 4-way, but I felt like that would have just out of the hat and a hat and a hat.
Yeah, no. The Shield triple threat is the Shield triple threat.
Yeah.
But no, that was incredibly close. Aaron, if you'd given me a 5th match for WrestleMania,
I was thinking of adding Punk in, but then I was trying to think how I would add Punk in, and now I realized I could have fucking added them into the Orton match instead because I'm a fucking idiot. This is where I'm getting tired. My brain's starting to get just a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah. I'm happy with my notes keeping. That's what for my clean mind is the aesthetically pleasing notes that I have.
See, that's great, right? But here are my notes on page 1. Just a fucking mess. But just ignore this, right? And we have page fucking 2 because I realized I was starting to get a little bit confused with the booking I was doing, and I was just like, "Yeah, I think I have it here." And I was looking at it too, going,
it's 2 different brain chemistries, isn't it?
I've literally got 3 refill pad pages.
That's good. I love that.
Just recording. Lads,
I was looking at it too, going, I think everyone's fucking there. And then I realized, Orton probably should have fucking faced Punk. Punk should have beat Orton. God damn it.
But to be fair, that was so fucking close though. That was close to the first time around.
That hurt me. You don't have credit. Well done. And that was
That was
actually better
fun.
than reality because, to be fair, late 2014 was a bit of a low point, and
Yeah.
he just fucking killed it. So well done.
So the gas thing is as well, like I'm also even just looking at the card as well. There's still technically space for Rusev, Cena, and Triple H Sting.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
I haven't even touched those four weren't even touched in either of our scenarios. I don't think. Oh no, Cena was in one of your matches, wasn't he, Aaron?
Cena
Yeah.
Lesnar. Yeah.
Cena Lesnar. Yeah. Fuck.
Although, yeah, you could add Cena
Um,
and Rusev to yours, Jonathan, and that would be
Yeah.
perfectly in place. But go on.
Jesus, yeah, that's mad.
Styles is adding a 1 year extension onto his contract with WWE, which is probably it then for him, I would imagine. I think he said he was going to stop by the time he was it 50? He said he was not wrestling when I'm 50. So I
Yeah.
imagine that's probably him out, which is a
Uh,
fucking.
Being honest,
Uh,
I love the idea of him re-signing with WWE purely for the chance that we might get to see him in TNA.
That would be fun. That would be great
I
fun.
would love just a quick little run there in TNA for like
Yep,
maybe a pay-per-view or two.
yep.
That would be
Yeah.
Just when they're
great.
doing the back and forth,
Mm.
you get Hendry at Mania, you get Styles at Bound for Glory.
Don't, please, don't. I did think of what I was going to do, what I was going to win, and it would have been still TNA. It still would have been 2010, but it actually would have been what happens if Hardy didn't have that fucking drug-induced main event with Sting
Yeah.
Oh,
and
the
he was
Victory
healthy.
Road.
How
Yeah.
would you have booked a heel Jeff Hardy one essentially with that roster at that time, which is probably the biggest what ifs ever in wrestling because TNA were the only one to have the balls to turn Jeff Hardy heel. The
Yeah.
only Cena level superstar they had in that company. And I remember when they turned him heel going, those fucking bastards did ballsy. Ye
Yeah.
ballsy bastards.
He pulled it off.
He pulled it off at the time that he was there. I
Yeah.
thought it was very fucking good. And then they just fucking then the Victory Road thing happened and it was like, oh
Oh
no.
no, the wheels came off long before that. When they let him design his own belts. Do you remember the Jeff Hardy heel belt?
I'm gonna fucking be in the very small minority here of saying I like that belt for what it was and for who it was for.
Okay. That's how. I am literally going to canvass the group for this.
Yeah.
For who it was a fine belt for who it was, for what it was for, and for what it achieved.
Like
I
like
think it would have looked very weird to have him with a big gold title at that point. Kind of like when Bray switched away from the Universal belt and had his own belt. It looks weird if he has an actual Universal title, but it doesn't look so weird if he has his own thing because obviously that belt doesn't work for anybody else, but it works
Yeah.
for Bray Wyatt at this particular moment in time. So that's why I kind of like that belt. But yeah, that was probably the ballsiest thing TNA ever did, and it just blew up in their face. It was like, oh fuck, man, that's it. That's it now. That's the end of that chapter. And then we got Aces and Eights and the famous fucking Mr. Kennedy bit where they had Tito Ortiz come out and he was going,
Oh no, this is the
well, we
worst day of
cannot.
my week.
The eights and eights were good until it wasn't.
That's where a lot of people checked out of it. I was a ride or die TNA fan at that point. Ride or fucking die. They couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. And that storyline was like, this is fucking good. And then it wasn't. And then it definitely wasn't. And then it just was like, where the fuck did we start here? What the fuck was going on? It was so, oh my God, it was so bad. Anyway.
Yeah.
I need to go to fucking bed. I'm fucking tired.
Jamie, you can see us home if you want it.
Yes, thank you both very, very much for joining me here tonight on my show. That was fucking excellent. No, genuinely, that was actually brilliant. Fair play to the both. You rewrote history for the better. The world is a better place for having seen this. Thank you both. Thank you for joining us at home. I hope you enjoyed some of the rambling. And join us next time when Jonathan will pick the prompt and will assume hosting duties.
If I don't win the next time, we're not doing this anymore.
It's Aaron holding the series ransom as God intended.
I'll go with
But
Amo.
if it's any consolation, I know exactly what I want to pick.
Are you revealing it here and now?
I can reveal it here and now if you want more prep time. It's up to yourselves.
I'll forget anyway. So go on.
Fair enough.
There's a reasonable chance I won't even be competing.
That's fair.
My
Well, what I want.
availability is dog shit.
So what I was going to have for our next episode of the Butterfly Suplex Effect, as I tag in for Jamie as the arbiter of time and space, I want to cast your minds back to, I can't remember which exactly. I'm gonna try and find out now exactly what it was. Was it? It was TLC 2010.
John Cena drops a fuckload of chairs on Wade Barrett.
Yes. There
Yes.
and what I would consider to be
Jamie,
the fight.
that wasn't the belt.
What?
That wasn't the belt.
That's the Immortal belt.
No, it was the purple strap. You picked the wrong one.
Oh. Touche.
I remember it.
Touche.
I'll
That's what
pop
people
the
are being
right
very
one.
positive about. Well, I'm willing
Yeah.
to concede this. Okay, 2010, yes.
It's roughly the same design, but you were just slightly off. Go on, Neil.
Oh yeah. So TLC 2010, John Cena takes on Wade Barrett, the leader of the Nexus. And it's a moment that a lot of people remember as, oh, they really fucked that one up. They really probably shouldn't have John Cena bury one of their best potential talents at that time.
Literally buried him.
Literally buried him under a pile of chairs. So your butterfly suplex effect for next time, if you choose to accept it, is to change one thing from that match. And butterfly suplex effect for the, let's just say, couple of months after that. We'll establish the story beats as we go along. But that's your mission to this one is to rebook essentially the Nexus. Or at least the second half of the Nexus, shall we say, when they've already been established as a super faction.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Intriguing. And it's from TLC specifically.
From TLC. So the starting off point will be December 2010. Yeah. So we'll take it from, I don't know, what's a good start-up point? SummerSlam 2011? SummerSlam 2011, that fucking awful fucking like elimination match where Team WWE versus the Nexus.
No, that was 2010.
Was it 2010? Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. So yeah.
2011 was Punk versus Cena?
Yeah, it was
Punk
actually. You're
versus
right.
Cena.
Yeah.
In the rematch and then Orton cash in.
Well, like I said, we'll see what the consequences of that is. So yeah, we'll go from there to SummerSlam. I think would make sense. So weirdly enough, WrestleMania is a middle point of our story, which will be interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then. So until then, guys, we'll see you for the next one.
Sleep.
Like, share, and subscribe, or such.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do the thing.
Content creation. Woo.
Adjective nouns.